What's up, race fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Rewind on Top Row Racing Media, presented by ELH Detailing and Federated Auto Parts. This is the interview show for Michiana Motorsports, and we have a big one tonight on hand for you. We have Evan Verduin first up from the Street Stock division around the area. He'll be our first guest on the Monday Night Rewind. Following him will be none other than Kenny Wallace himself, the Herminator, before his big appearance at the Hot Shoe 100 at Kalamazoo this weekend. He'll be joining us at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss that. We'll have him for a quick segment before Kenny Head joins us from the Kalamazoo Mini Wedge program. He'll be giving us some breaking news from what he does up there, that great work that he does with the Kalamazoo and beyond Mini Wedge program for the kids up there in the Michigan area. And then our last guest from the Reveal the Hammer series is going to be their announcer, Matt Prieur, and he has a lot more to talk about than just Reveal the Hammer. So I'm very excited for our final guest at 7:40 with Matt Prieur. But I am joined, as always, by the man in the top row himself, Lewis Noakes. How are we doing tonight, Lewis?
Good, and we got Evan Verduin already on with us, but I forgot to tell you, Buju, a few weeks ago when we had World of Outlaws on SL's Promotions, jamming out to the intro there. So
I love the intro.
It's kind of catchy. It gets, you hear it enough, it starts to get a little catchy. So we're trying to do things different tonight. So definitely in the chat, please let us know if there's any kind of echo or anything that you might hear while either of us are talking. Because Lord knows that we have had some audio issues the last two shows. So hoping that's not the case again. But other than that, I know, Evan, we asked you, to join us, and you have not only completed your season at Plymouth. So if you want to talk a little bit about how you did this year at Plymouth, but then your plans starting this Saturday in New Paris, Indiana.
Yeah, so season at Plymouth did not start off great at all. We had carb troubles for the first 3 or 4 nights. I got that figured out, but after that, car got progressively faster and faster. Now we're running 14.7s. I ran a 14.6, which is like a whole 4/10 quicker than what I started the season with. So ended up 7th, I think, in points. Not terrible for how many points nights we had. And now we're going on to having more fun at other tracks. We're going to go try the Flagger Boy this weekend. We're gonna then we're going back to Plymouth for Buju, what's it called? You gotta help me out here.
The Brandon Ross Memorial.
Yeah. And then M40 the 22nd, and then we're gonna try and go to Kalamazoo for their championship night.
Oh, you muted yourself, Lewis.
Yeah, I did on accident. So what are you looking forward to when it comes to Flagger Boy this weekend? You're getting to New Paris for the first time.
Yeah, first time this season. I mean, last season was a ton of fun. Mainly just like going to New Paris for the Flagger Boy because the hype of it. All the big guys are there. See where you can stack yourself up with all of them. It's a different track. I'm not great at it, but you're not going to get better by just not showing up. So show up and see if we can do anything exciting again.
Well, B feature last year that you won. So what does it take at New Paris? You said it's a little tough, right? What does it take at New Paris to succeed and get yourself into the big show?
I'm not too sure. A lot of patience, I guess, waiting for the right time to make something happen. And you got to take that chance to get up there. If you can roll on the outside at New Paris, you're probably going to be pretty good. But, I mean, if your car's just stuck on the bottom and won't go up top, I don't think you're doing too much there.
So what is it? Last year, you were one of few who made that top work, and it was kind of like on that last lap, right? You made that, you got around that. So, what part of like New Paris around the top and having the patience, like when you're in the driver's seat, how do you remind yourself to have that patience?
You don't really. Wait for the guy in front of you to slip up and wait for that hold open and you got to take it once it's there.
And there's not always opportunity for that, right? I mean, even on a weekly night when we have, full field, it's tough to get through. And so, when you go to Plymouth, how, what style can you learn at Plymouth that is somewhat adaptable to like New Paris?
I don't really know if I can relate those two too much. Plymouth and New Paris are a whole lot different. Plymouth's got a whole lot more banking than New Paris, and really, I guess you kind of park your car in the corners at Plymouth more than Kalamazoo or South Bend. So you could kind of take that to New Paris, I guess, but that's probably all I can relate to that.
Yeah, sometimes you have drivers that, well, I did this at this track, I tried it here, especially when it comes to like bigger races, managing tires and that kind of deal. So I wondered, because we have fans that ask those kind of things all the time, like, well, they race over here, so what can they apply over there? And so that's how I figured, well, that's a question that we see. So I thought I would ask it just to see, like, is there anything that you can bring patience-wise or experience-wise with some of the same drivers?
And New Paris is it's one of its own, I think. I haven't been to anywhere else like it. So
how would you explain 1 and 2 to people?
turns 1 and 2?
Yep, at New Paris.
1 and 2 is nowhere near as hard as I thought it would be. Everybody warned me about 1 and 2, but nobody told me how quick that front stretch wall comes up off of 4. So when you have new guys coming in, New Paris guys, you gotta alert them about that, because I was not aware how quick you come up on that.
Yeah, see, I've always heard 1 and 2, so I didn't think about 4.
Yeah, and then you got that little bump off 4 too on the bottom, so the whole thing over there.
Yeah, I guess. Well, when I was track driving the one time, I saw what people are talking about with that bump and pour, because you don't realize it. Like when you walk the track, it's when you're driving the track, they're like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, you hit it and it kicks back into the car out, and you got to hold on to it.
Yeah. So what are your, obviously you've done street stocks a couple of years. Is that something that you plan to stick along with at, in street stocks, or is there, I know like Charlie Hanna's talking about possibly moving up. Are you thinking at some point ever doing like a limited? I know street stocks are in the family.
Yeah, no, probably sticking with street stocks for a long time. You got a huge, like they're not going anywhere. You got good car counts just about everywhere with street stocks. You got a ton of big names in street stocks, and it's fun just being with a big field.
So who are some of the Buju, you don't have words. You're silent. Yeah, no.
Let's turn that back up and try that again. How's that sound?
No.
So, street stocks might be your main focus, but you've also got a little side project that you might have won a little bit on accident. So, what's the other car you've been messing with lately?
Yeah, so we won a 2002 Saturn 4-door. It's only 100 horsepower. It's nothing fast. But we won that in a Facebook raffle, $20 car. We threw it together in 3 days. And then after that, Hudson Ross, my buddy, helped us out building the car. So now it's kind of his toy. He's kind of having fun in it at at Plymouth. Take that thing to New Paris, probably not going to do too good. But we're going to see what we do over the off season with that. We were talking maybe get it better looking, just tidy some things up, maybe sell it, maybe a Crown Vic for him to play around with, me to play around with.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a faster Hornet. We don't know yet, but
little fun car on the side isn't too bad, and a couple B feature win for a $20 car isn't too shabby either. So yeah. I know you and your dad said it was probably about the most fun you've ever had putting a car together, even though it was a bit of a rush, huh?
Yeah, it's a whole lot cheaper than a street stock too. So
do you ever miss Hornet racing yourself?
Every now and then. I mean, the Hornet class, all them guys were there to like just have fun. Nobody went there and tried to get a NASCAR contract. We were all just there to have fun. The street stocks, not so much, but it's fun once you get competitive in street stocks. But this first year or two was pretty rough.
So help everyone understand that transition. I mean, obviously, we know front wheel drive V8, there's a transition, but Haley Bowl has kind of talked about this a little bit, going from Hornet to street stock. So what was it like for you?
Yeah, Hornet street stock jump was humbling. To say it, like, that's the best way to put it. It was humbling. The competition got heavier, cars got faster. You got a ton of horsepower on these little 8-inch tires. You know, like my Hornet, it was super. It wasn't a fast car. 95 horsepower. It handled great, but it was slow off the corners. It was a big momentum car. But then street stocks, you gotta drag race these guys on the straightaways, kick the car loose. You gotta drive it sideways every now and then. It's a big difference, and like anybody moving up from Hornets to street stocks, I'll tell you right now, like your first 2 years or so, you're probably gonna hate it a little bit. Once you get it down and you get competitive, though, then you're gonna start to love it.
Which you have done this year. Lots of people have commented on, and you were good before, right? But there's a lot of people who you've impressed more and more as the season has gone on. So do you feel like you're getting your confidence back, your swag back, or do you feel like it was there, you just had to trust it more?
Definitely getting the confidence back, like especially with this year and after the double play race, running up front. Like I was talking to Buju because we were just talking about like our old racing heroes or whatever, you know. And I'm telling him, I'm like, I was running third and the outside was open on Ronnie Maynard. I'm like, I was in the car and I'm physically thinking, I'm like, I'm passing Ronnie Maynard on the top right now. Like, I used to cheer for this dude all the time when he was in street stocks at South Bend. And it was just a full circle moment for me. Like all these fast guys I was running up there with, like Jeff Town, we ran side by side for 2 laps or so, and like we go to Kalamazoo or something or M40, and I'm not racing, but we'll place bets on a street stock driver, and he's always my go-to guy. And it's like now I'm running with him. It's just something cool to think about when you're in the car.
Yeah, that's what I think about all the times. I almost brought it up on my show yesterday, is how much I've enjoyed watching Evan go from mini wedges to Hornets to being a street stock driver to being a competitive street stock driver. And I think just each year, I feel like from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, excuse me, he's made big jumps. And this year hasn't been any exception to that. And it's been really fun to watch again. And I'm excited for some new races at some new tracks. So always my guy, the 72 car. Happy to be on board as always, and happy you joined us here tonight, Lewis.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's a few years ago, right? I reached out to his mom, Stephanie, and said, I want to be a part of this team, support. You could just see the little seeds planted on your career, and you're going to get a championship one of these days. So, so that's what's exciting, is that watching you go from mini wedge to Hornet, ups and downs with the Hornet, almost winning your first race, getting the speed limit ticket, right? But to keep coming back and keep coming back.
Yeah, and you guys have both been on every single one of my big cars I've had, like Hornets to now. You were on with Top Pro, from the Hornet. I had DFR on my Hornet, and then I had Top Speed Travels, and then now Buju Boring. So we've been in this circle for what, 2021, I think. I started once.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Half your life.
Yeah.
So do you want to, while we're there, do you want to thank those who ride along with you each week when the 72 pulls off the trailer?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Williams Expert Pivot and Pump, Auto Parts City, Great Lakes Heating and Air Conditioning, Top Pro Racing, Buju's Bullring, Top Speed Travels, Mikey Ferrara, his old Duke of Performance, Dudley Trucking. Yeah.
I missed that.
They did really good work.
Why don't you hold it up? Are you able to hold it up? Yeah, hold it up and show it.
Gotta get the other diecast off.
Okay, clear all the other ones off. I got him addicted to the diecast game, Lewis. See, look at that bad boy. J. Fried Von Track Design.
Yeah, I mean, he went the extra mile and even put the little lead chunk down there by the jack post. Like, he got this thing like perfect. There's not a single thing missing on it.
Again, on track design. So I must have missed that, but I feel bad that I missed that. I didn't know that he did that. So it looks awesome. So we talked about Kalamazoo, we talked about New Paris, we talked about M40. Are we missing something, Bushu?
We talked about the Hornet. I don't know. I think we covered everything we had planned anyway.
Yeah. Well, so how about this?
You're out of here, bud.
Oh no. So Evan, do you want to see Buju's face turn super red right now?
Oh, here you go. Yeah, I know he's on my side with this, so go ahead.
What do you think about the dirt racing at the Dome in St. Louis, since we have Kenny Wallace coming on soon? Hot swerve.
You sneaky Pete.
That's the best race of the year, if you ask me. I look forward to that every year. I'd say it's better than Eldora. Eldora is definitely second, but Gateway just does it better than anybody else. The driver intros, the drama, the electricity in the building. That's what everybody uses that word to explain the Dome.
Yeah.
And
Evan told me I need to tell Kenny to come back to the Dome tonight. So
Kenny does.
So yeah, I mean, my brother goes every year. I've never been to the Dome,
so
but
fun.
it's
As a wrestling fan, Lewis, you would absolutely love it.
So then talk a little bit. So you're an asphalt racer, but you're also a big dirt fan. So what is it like for you? I mean, that means you're a fan of racing, but what do you think sometimes with the tribalism that comes with, well, dirt's for this and asphalt's for that? So how do you find it as a race fan of both genres?
I mean, I love it all. I mean, I will say I think dirt racing does it better with their fans, their social media, but, you know, like dirt superweight models, they're like the equivalents to NASCAR in their own world. But dirt superweight models, they're like 1980s NASCAR. The fans are crazy. They're having concerts, and it's just a ton of people there to love racing, and they're all hyped up all the time. Like, you walk through Eldora or Gateway, there's not going to be a single person that's not going to want to talk to you. Like, everybody's just super cool, just down to earth people, and it's great.
And to his point, like him and our buddy Hudson are the ones that got me into dirt racing, and that's what they took me to Eldora for my first big dirt race, and that's what it felt like was the NASCAR races when I was a kid. And I can't quite put my finger on what dirt is doing different than what we are, but I don't know. Those big dirt events just feel a little different than the asphalt stuff does.
Well, and I grew up at Santa Fe, so I grew up on dirt racing and dirt late models. But yeah, sometimes the formats of the races, you know, how they do heat races, how they do draws, that seems to get people excited. And I mean, they always have packed shows everywhere. So that's interesting. What do you think, Evan?
Speaking of their format, for any track owner or promoter listening to this right now, we need to have a big street stock event with a dirt race format. Watching heat races and 8 cars battle for a transfer spot, I love watching dirt heat races just for the transfer spots. I could care less to really watch an asphalt heat because, you know, fast qualifier guy, he's just going to go out there, run 2 laps, check what adjustment he made, and he's pulling in. If you got to run for a transfer spot, everybody's going to race hard for that 8 laps, 10 laps, whatever you want to run. Fans love it. Drivers love it. It's a whole lot more entertaining.
I like it. Well, I know New Paris is listening. I don't know about anyone else, but I definitely know New Paris is on.
Hey,
change
I
it up,
get
right?
that out there.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get somebody.
Yeah, and everybody likes big races, right? We already have the Flagger Boy. Maybe New Paris has a second big street stock show with a little different format. You never know. But hey, we're just throwing ideas out there, right? We're having fun.
Yeah, you said dirt racing's doing it better than asphalt somehow, and you don't know how. Could be a whole reason.
And maybe it's just they're spending more money. Maybe that's part of it too. But
well, definitely that would. Well, we've talked about how heat races before are just kind of like extra practice
Yeah.
sometimes, and so that's definitely something that maybe could spice things up a little bit. Is do a heat race, but it matters. Like where you finish matters.
Yeah.
Because if you want to, move on to the A or have to go to a B, you're gonna have to work, not just ride around in the back and collect points.
Yeah, if you have 4 cars that transfer from a heat race, they're not just gonna be battling for the win. They're gonna be battling out for 4th, like hard. So there'll be good racing all throughout the pack.
Something to think about. I like it. I'm pondering.
We're pitching ideas on the Monday Night Rewind tonight.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like that. It's almost like, who did it? Was it Trident? You didn't go to Lorraine, but I felt like maybe it was Lorraine and the Trident that did something like that, or with their modifieds and street stocks. I felt like those mattered in a way, or am I thinking something else? I feel like I've watched that in an asphalt track though, where you place in your heats mattered whether you were this feature, and then like the top 2 or 4. Top 4 went on to the A, these went to the B, and then from the B they took like the top 6. And 3 went this way, 3 went this way with provisionals added.
I love a bracket style format like what they do at Grundy at the end of the year for the Bahama brackets, where everybody qualifies into their own. Like you have 200 cars show up, but pure stocks end up racing with pure stocks, and sportsmen end up racing with sportsmen just because the time shakes out. And then you move in from heat races or bash races or foo-foo races, as they call them. Like I love a bracket style format. And to Evan's point, I think sometimes we get too stuck into the let's run qualifying, a certain amount of cars lock in, 4 cars come in from the last chance. Let's do that every big race. And I mean, it works out sometimes. We do still get big crowds and big car counts for big races, but maybe we shake it up and maybe it gets a little bigger. Like so we're always talking about trying new things, and maybe that's a new thing to try.
Oop. Sorry, I got a message. Something came in my ear and went, did you hear the ding too, or was it just me?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, so it's just me. I'm going to hand the show to you two for a moment. I'm going to pop off for just a second, so you both are in charge. Enjoy.
Oh boy. So I know you've run New Paris already. You haven't run M40 yet. So what are the challenges you're looking forward to when you get to run M40 in a few weeks?
Biggest challenge for M40 is going to be there's no really preferred racing groove. Guys make every groove their work. They go 3 wide, like right off the rip. That's the biggest thing I'm worried about for M40. But
did your dad ever run M40? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think he has.
Okay.
In the late model, I think.
Gotcha. I was about to say, I don't even know if you have that resource to rely on for tips for getting around M40. I know Ronnie runs there a lot, but he's not in a street stock necessarily. So
how long ago it's been since Dad ran there? Probably don't have.
Also fair. That's also fair. Yeah, Chris from New Paris in the chat. Lewis is on a dog slinger break. He certainly might be. You never know, Chris. But yeah, we certainly thank you for coming on, Evan, tonight. And I wasn't expecting me and you to have to kill time, but here we are. As I think Lewis is getting ready for old Kenny Wallace to get on, perhaps. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to think about stuff to ask you about. As I look at the dirt doors behind you, we talked about dirt racing a little bit already. I know we're big dirt late model fans. You got me into being a Tyler Erb fan. How did you wind up being a turbo fan on the dirt side of things?
His attitude, mostly his aggression. Hate to race with him, but love to be a fan of him.
Those are the kind of guys that are easy to root for. Who do you like on the NASCAR side of things these days? I know you don't watch as much as you used to, but
Hocevar, like everybody else in Indiana and Michigan. So
I'm noticing a trend, Evan. It's easy to root for the guys it's fun to root for the guys that make guys angry a little bit, huh? Maybe it's the Earnhardt fan in you as well. So So you come from a long legacy of family racing. I mentioned your dad. He's obviously spending the most time with you on the race car and in your racing life. Your uncle Ronnie spent a lot of time mentoring you, I guess, a little bit, especially through the mini wedge days. Let's say, how many more of your family members can you name that have been in the racing world? Let's see how far down the list you can get here.
I'm probably gonna miss some of them, but
No, I'm sure.
we'll start with my great grandpa, Jack Martzoff, then Kenny Martzoff, his son,
Mm-hmm.
Roy,
On your
my
dad's
dad,
side. Yeah.
My grandpa, who else? Ronnie S. Gridge ran mini stock for a little bit. Christian Hazley, Jay.
Yeah. The count could be over 24 if you totaled it all up, honestly. I think about it a lot, and I don't even know if I could name them all, because I mean, most of them were racing before you were ever around, so it's not even fair to ask you to name them all. But yeah, it gets the number can get pretty high up there.
And then, I mean, you got Ronnie and Cheyenne, my dad. Mom ran a car one time.
Yeah, one time. stuffed it into the gate in turn 1 at South Bend. But outside of your family, maybe who were some of your racing heroes growing up?
Brian Ross, big in the Outlaws. Rodney Smith, Sportsman's. Street Stocks, big Maynard fan.
Yeah.
For V8 wise, I think that's the biggest ones I have.
Outside of South Bend, I know South Bend is always going to be home, but outside of South Bend, what was your favorite track going up to watch?
Going up to watch. Probably Kalamazoo. They always put on good racing. And also on the topic of South Bend, let's never change that track dirt while I'm on the mic here and have the opportunity. That track is not built for dirt.
These people, Evan. Yeah, go ahead. I
don't care if you have the money or not. You're repaving it if you're buying it. Okay, and it's staying asphalt.
We're chaining ourselves to the tower to keep it that way if we have to. Well, I'm not a dirt expert, but I feel like South Bend is so small that you'd have to narrow it so much. You're making it even smaller. Like you're making a gateway size for a weekly track. It's gonna be. Yeah. I feel like you're gonna be crawling around there. It's gonna be so top dominant because of the banking. The wall's gonna have to be raised about 10 feet. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what people are thinking sometimes, Evan. Listen, I love me some dirt racing, but asphalt tracks are asphalt tracks.
Big money guys don't even come to Gateway because they don't want to tear up their stuff. The big money guys. What about us low budget guys? We're not gonna go tear up our car every week.
Yeah. See, Evan, we're the guys that know. That's why we got put in charge of the Monday Night Rewind while Lewis is figuring things out. I'm getting a little worried that Lewis fell off the face of the earth, if we're being honest. But we're gonna continue to kill time here on the Monday Night Rewind. Oh boy, we're really getting into memory banks now. So we made our little efforts at South Bend back in October. So it started off as us volunteering to have a couple paint buckets and touch up the walls. Lewis is back, thank God.
I've heard you this whole time.
It started off with us volunteering to just get a couple paint buckets, touch up the walls, and all that stuff. It turned it up to cutting off bleacher boards and painting up concession stands and all that other stuff. But what did that mean to you? Yeah, what did that mean back to you? And at our home track to be able to a small part of getting it back up and going, even if it's just for another short time.
I mean, it meant everything. Me, you, and Hudson. I mean, we all volunteered our time, no pay. Like we just did it because we love the place, and knowing that we got this season or the 5-6 shows, whatever we're doing, could just be because of that. Maybe it brought it back to life, and they seen more potential in it.
Yeah,
just knowing that we could have been the reason for all those events to happen.
And maybe it speaks to my nature as just being a big kid, but I just had a blast having free reign of the racetrack for a week and a half or however long we were out there. Like, I would have done that forever if they'd have let me. That was payment enough for me, but I don't know. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up one more time because I know it was special to both of us to be able to be, like I said, even if it was just a small part. It's not like we had money on the line or anything, but it was nice to be a small part of bringing back our favorite place. And it was a great event to cap it all off as well.
Yeah. I mean, we were there from like noon to midnight.
Yeah,
a lot of nights. Like we
I
were.
feel it was 7 or 8 straight days. It wasn't straight days because we took an outdoor break in there in the middle, but it was quite a stretch there for it was over a week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Lewis, come back. All right, Evan. All right, Evan. Let's see, man. We talk too much for me to have to come up with topics live on a podcast now. Yeah, especially ones that are safe to bring up on the podcast. So let's go back to the Hornet running the B feature at South Bend. You didn't want to be in the A feature because of what the car was. So take me back to taking the green. Run me through that whole B feature. Taking the green flag. What's running through your head as you're running this car that was literally thrown together, and you don't even know if it's going to hold apart as you're running through this race?
I can't say I remember all of the B feature.
Yeah, I hear
just because you go green, you forget it. But
yeah,
I do remember
you go green and you black out.
Like first lap. Yeah, we started wrecking like first lap. Kaylee's behind me, hitting me, not looking in front of me. That was a full race restart, I think, and then went green. Somehow, some way, they sorted it out. I was able to get through there. Had to sit behind whoever was leading. I don't know his name. For a long time, he kept kind of taking the whole track. So he left the bottom open just enough. Kind of fed him a door. But it worked out. I think we had like 4 to go by that point and ended up holding on to win it.
Boring racing, baby.
You two are doing just fine without me, by the way. I can hear you the whole time.
It takes a second for the gears to get going and for it to catch something for me to something to come out of my mouth.
Well, and what's interesting is, so I'm talking as our guests are coming on in the green room. So I hear you guys and I hear them at the same time. I'm like, man, I know I already had voices in my head. I didn't need proof of that. So, so we're trying to get Kenny Wallace, because just so everyone knows, and I'm sure that's a lot of people are waiting. He is on vacation with his wife. They're in the Wisconsin Dells visiting her family. So he's taken time out of his vacation to squeeze us in, but Wisconsin is on a different time zone, just like Illinois, when he's in Illinois and Missouri and all that. So we're just making sure, like, the messages said Eastern and that kind of deal, but we're just doing reminders Eastern and that the show is live right now. And so we're going to be flexible, is what we call it. And I have Kenny Head already on, and I have Matt Prieur already on. I moved them into the staging area, so that way they're not sitting in the green room by themselves having thoughts to nothing, that they can see the show and hear the show. So yeah, so they're both in this staging area. So we're just trying to figure out where's Wallace. So
we got to get Herm off the damn water slide to come on the Monday Night Rewind.
But just in case, we do have a backup plan for Thursday for the just in case, because again, he is on a family vacation, and so he was taking 5 to 10 minutes out of his vacation time to do this tonight. So Kenny already knows that Kenny, the other Kenny, we have 2 Kennys, and then Matt Prieur is also Kenny Prieur for tonight's show only. So we have Kenny. Evan was before the Kenny show, so Evan gets to keep his name.
He's pre-Kenny.
he's pre-Kenny's. But so Kenny Head is flexible too, and he knows Wallace may come in at any moment. So so other than that, that's why I wanted to let everyone know why I've kind of been on and off. We have a brand new green room that we're trying, so it's working, it's doing its job, but I've not had that many voices in my head at one time for a while. So listening to 2 different conversations at the same time, I have that skill, but I didn't know I didn't know I had to practice that today.
And I don't know, quite frankly, I don't know how dangerous you realize it was that you left the Monday Night Rewind in the hands of me and Evan Verduin solo. So I'm glad we survived it, and I'm glad we made it through to the other side.
Hey, you know what? We're all big fans of Evan. Evan has a huge following, so you know, how can you start better than having Evan? I mean, this show is loaded. You know, we added Evan, you know, not last minute, but last minute, you know, because especially with Flagger Boy representation, with Flagger Boy coming up this weekend, and since we're talking hot shoe too, like we're balancing 2 tracks on one show, but then to have Kenny Head, who's such a legend in the racing industry, and really taking the mini wedges at Kalamazoo, Berlin to that next level, and everything he's done with his successful racing career, and now doing it as a leader. It's like got that, and then Matt Prieur, who's a legend on the mic himself. I mean, it's a loaded show, loaded. So, Drew Jack is working on the Kenny Wallace thing for us too. He's helping us, so I appreciate Drew Jack getting his mojo working too. So we do owe Jason Seltzer $1 because Kenny was not on at 7:15. So if Jason is watching, we owe $1. But other than that, again, I know Evan, you're like, hey, I stayed around longer than I planned. Yeah, but again, you know, I know we're both big fans of you though. So to have you on, well, I'm excited. I get to watch him race. You know, I get it like once or twice a year. So, you know, I
didn't get to do it all that much this year either. So I'm excited too.
True. But I don't even have a picture of the new car, right? So I'm like, we got to get that. So I'm excited to see you race, Evan. And I know just watching on social media how many people have been impressed with you and what you've done this year. And you're a mini wedge graduate. So to have, again, Kenny Head on, talk about mini wedges, that's the future. You're proof of that, of what these programs, you did it through Northern Indiana, what these programs can do, because now your career is becoming super successful behind the straight stock, and it started in mini wedges. So, I mean, that's what these programs can do. Oh, awkward silence. But but again, Evan, we got Kenny Wallace. He is now in the green room.
Boy.
So I will leave. So I will check in with Kenny, and I will be back.
All right. So Evan, it's just me and you again. Once again, we're holding down the fort. And folks, it sounds like we finally got Kenny Wallace in the chat. We got him off the water slide. Kenny will be at the Hot Shoe 100 at Kalamazoo Speedway this weekend. It is a 2-day show, Friday and Saturday. Don't know the full details on that. That's more Lewis's department. So he'll be back in a moment. And him and Kenny will have all the details that will be going at Kalamazoo this weekend. Bummed that I can't be there with the Herminator for the Hot Shoe. Evan, I know that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
How are you feeling over there?
We already have scheduled.
It works. That's how it works out all the time, it seems. But it's good that people have great options for short track racing this weekend. And you can't go wrong with Kalamazoo. It sounds like they're going to have about 4,000 modifieds for the Hot Shoe this weekend. And Kenny Wallace will be among that field and among us on the Monday Night Rewind in just a few moments once Lewis gets him settled in and onto the show here. Me and Evan holding down the fort while that happens. We want to thank our sponsors while we have a moment here, Federated Auto Parts and ELH Detailing. Help bring you everything on Top Row Racing Media, especially the Monday Night Rewind and Thursday Night Throttle, which you can check out live on Thursdays on Top Row Racing Media. In addition to everything Top Row does with the full programs on YouTube and beyond, Lewis back to take over the show.
All right. Well, are we ready for Kenny Wallace to come out? He has 2 bars. So they're in the Wisconsin Dells. His family's sitting around. So if you're ready, he's got 2 bars. He's in the staging area now. So he let me know where he's surprised that he has signal, but we do have him on. So again, I'm super excited for this. Evan, you want to hang out with us?
I'm fine with hanging out with you guys.
Kenny Wallace, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right.
I got to poke my phone in, though.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to mute you for just a second while you're doing that, while we bring Kenny on.
Yeah.
All right. So again, coming to Kalamazoo Speedway for the first time since 1986, we have Kenny Wallace. So, I got to hit the right button here. So, Kenny, welcome to the Monday Night Rewind.
Hey, thanks for having me on, everybody. Yeah, I'm up here in the. I don't know. There could be an argument between the greatest racing states, whether it's Michigan or Wisconsin. But I'm not far from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, the home of the late great Dick Trickle. And yeah, we're up here for about 3 days with the family, and then we're gonna head out Thursday morning and come see you all.
Well, and do you want to talk a little bit about that? 1986 was the last time that you were at Kalamazoo, from what you posted when the announcement was made. And so, do you want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what it's like coming back to Kalamazoo so many years later, especially for a huge modified race like the Super Shoe 100?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a time warp. I would say, you guys weren't even born, but like 1986, that was the epitome. That was the greatest ASA ever was, the American Speed Association. And I was racing with guys like, Dick Trickle, Bob Seneker, Mike Eddy, uh, you know, the greats. And it was a wonderful time in ASA. If you had any success in ASA in those days, that meant you were going NASCAR. And, on the tour was some of those great racetracks, Berlin, we ran there, and then Kalamazoo, and ran there one time. Forgot really how I finished. I don't think I ran very good, but it's just really neat to learn more about these modifieds. I ran the hot shoe up there in Kinross, run seventh. God, there was like 70 cars. I don't know how the hell I qualified so good. I was just good. Brian Nestor built those cars, but that was like 5 years ago. So I'm excited. I've been watching all the videos. I see all the suites around the racetrack. I see the racetrack's kind of wore out. Looks like gonna have to have some grip, stay turning good. Have it all, I guess. But
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's not a bad thing, right? So, Kenny, as someone who's been entrenched in stock car racing, like you mentioned, at every level, what is it about short track racing specifically that keeps you coming back for all these years?
I love competition. I like competing. Of course, I'm in a better mindset now that I'm 63 years old. Every race is not do or die. When I was Evan's age, if I had a bad practice session, I thought that was the end of my career.
Yeah.
If I ran seventh, and I, didn't get what I needed to get, I thought, oh my God, that's it. My life is over. But that was never true. And now I'm just in a better state of mind. And I think the reason I keep racing so much is I just love it. I just love racing.
Amen, brother. Me too.
Well, and you're someone who's such an advocate for racing. You not only do your dirt racing, you do asphalt racing, and then you also have such a huge platform where you get to talk to hundreds of thousands to millions and millions of people. And your voice carries. We've cited you on the show a couple times with your rain out video that you did, where you're like, you weren't going to the race anyway, And so, what is it that, you're coming to Carson Hocevar's home, little Kalamazoo will be just behind the wall, which wasn't there when you raced here last time. So you'll get to see like where he started. So what is it that that with the platform you've built, what is it that you think helps you stand out to everybody other than you're authentic?
Well, I think my brother Rusty says it best. It's funny. He said, Herman, I watch that stuff you do. And he says, you take the knife, and he says, you poke the skin, but you never draw blood. And I think I'm organically fair. I don't ever badmouth people. People ask my opinion. I think I'm real, and I didn't know that. I didn't know I was real until they call it organic. And I guess organic means that you're real. And, and I'm like everybody else. I also think that I try to be a little more positive. I don't see everything horrible. I don't see everything bad. And, I try to split it up. If you're going to criticize something, you can criticize it, but you got to come back with at least 3 good things. It just can't be all bad. That's kind of the way I think.
Well, I love your coffee with Kenny. That's the first thing I watch every morning when I get up is I I watch your coffee with Kenny, and you're always holding the mug. You got the brands right there, and it's like I just love your thoughts. I love how you talk about things. So I definitely I'm a huge fan of you, and love what you do and the advocacy that you do for the sport, which needs it, right? You've touched on some big topics over time, but you always do it with professionalism. And sometimes, in the industry, sometimes that could be hard, to do, you're someone whose voice carries, but you're also mindful, like, people are listening to what I say, so I'm going to deliver it in a respectful way. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that's really nice of you, and I appreciate it. That's rare. People don't like to talk good about other people because, we feel like it's all about us. Which, Darrell Waltrip joked years ago. He goes, it's all about me, and I said, oh yeah. So, I would just say that I know the way people feel. I know. Listen, when Kim and I got married, we did what the Catholics do, pre-Cana class. One of my greatest lessons in life, but I really came up for air. When you're a hardcore racer like me, you can't breathe. You're a horse with blinders. You're doing what you're going to do. But Father John said to me, he said, before I started racing, he said, "Oh, young man, what are you going to do?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to be a race car driver." He said, "Oh, be careful. Competition will kill you." And man, like 20 years later, I'm like, oh my God, this is what he meant. Because, I got roughed up. I didn't have a great career, but I did win a lot. And, and I would break out in welts, because I wasn't getting what I wanted. And I often think of Father John. I'm a Lutheran, Kim's Catholic, and then we're close to Wisconsin Rapids, and Dick Trickle, he was my mentor, and he was a great philosopher. And so I really, the older you get, it's easier for me to share racing stories. I'll go to the Hot Shoe 100, I'll go to Kalamazoo, and I know what I'm going to see. I'm going to see all these mod guys like it's their whole life, and they're going to be checking their stagger, and they're going to be resetting that sway bar like 3 times before they go on the track. And they're just that's the way I was. And I know what's up, and it's hardcore competition. But what I learned is, it will control your life if you let it, and it does. And then later on in life, I'm just happy now because competition doesn't control me anymore. And it's a great feeling.
I never thought of it that way, but I get lessons from Andy Bozell, and now we have a lesson from Kenny Wallace. So I'm going to keep that. I like how you stated that. So Andy Bozell always has something to share. And so I like that about the competition and not letting it control you. I hadn't thought of it that way. I like it.
But it will. It will.
Yeah.
It does control you. You got to figure out how to tame it, especially if you don't win all the time. If you don't win all the time, but listen, I know guys that have won 8 championships and they're still destroyed, because somebody said something negative about them. And so it never ends. Competition never ends. I've just learned to tame it.
And you got a lot of competition on hand this weekend at the Hot Shoe 100, Kenny. So what are the challenges that you're most looking forward to this weekend when you head up and hang out here with us at Kalamazoo?
Well, I'm just worried, right now about pushing in the middle, being loose off. I just really got to roll the center. You got to remember, I ran Berlin about 3 weeks ago. We run 10th.
There you go.
And I was so damn loose, and I told Brian, I said, maybe, let's look into some rear shocks. But, I guess they practice and they're worried right now. So what I'm worried about is getting qualified. And so, we got 2 1-hour practice sessions on Friday. I'm not involved in the new shoe because I ran 7th in the hot shoe about 5 years ago up at Kinross, right? So I run 7th in the hot shoe 100 at Kinross. So that doesn't qualify me to get any more time on the track. So even though I want to run a couple of these races, I've only ran 2 of these races, but they're treating me like a veteran. And so, I get 2 hours of practice, and hopefully I can be up to speed, which, that's what I'm worried about. So I'll be focused on getting that car to handle, stay rolling, and getting into gas as hard as I can and keep pedaling.
Well, what is it like for you? And I know you're on vacation, so we're not going to keep you too much longer because you got to go enjoy the Wisconsin Dells while you're there.
You gotta get on them water slides, Kenny.
You're fine. It's
But,
late in the evening. We're good.
all right. Well, we still want to respect your time. So, you do dirt racing, you do dirt modified. So, for fans who wonder, because I see this kind of conversation go all the time. What's the difference between like you jumping in a dirt modified that you do all the time to now an asphalt modified at a track, that or any track that's asphalt that you have to, what are those differences for those who wonder?
Well, they're two complete different disciplines. We can drive the asphalt modified. We can drive it loose, but that's slow. So the chassis is just everything in the asphalt cars. Like I can be loose, but if I'm loose and the guy behind me is not, he's gonna pass me. So there's a very narrow window in asphalt racing. You got to get that chassis as good as you can. Now in dirt racing, if you're not running good here, you can seek a different groove out. And I mean, you can go from 10th to the lead. And that's the biggest difference right there. The window is very small, at Kalamazoo for the Hot Shoe 100. If you ain't handling good, you're dead in the water. And in the dirt racing, you got to handle good, but you can do some different things with the car to stay competitive. And it's asphalt is a lot harder because the car has to handle 100%.
Yeah, that's a conversation that I see all the time. So I thought, well, we have someone who obviously, we don't get a lot of dirt modified racers on here too often. So that's something that, you've done that and done that at a high level very well. And so I thought, well, this is the time to ask, especially people see, well, it's just a modified. I don't think it's just a modified. There are differences. So.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. Asphalt racing, you want your stagger down to the quarter of an inch, and if like, let's say I want an inch stagger in the rear, but I got an inch and a half on my dirt car, that's fine, but if you're a half inch off on your asphalt car, you're junk. And it's that intense.
Oh yeah. Well, and again at Kalamazoo, that's where I'm very lucky. I get to cover it every Friday night for weekly racing and all their big shows. And so I always explain to people at Kalamazoo, you're always turning. Always turning. You're always, you're never really straight. And if you're straight, you're probably climbing the wall. So it's probably not a good thing. So I know one of the things that I pulled up a picture of Kalamazoo in 1986, and there is no wall. So. When you come to Kalamazoo, you're going to definitely be seeing a completely different facility. That
I won't even know where I'm at.
So, do you? So with that, what's something that you remember about Kalamazoo from '86 that you want to hold on to when you come back? Like, what's a memory from there, or something that you experienced where you're like, this is what makes Kalamazoo special, and why I'm excited to come back in 2026.
I kind of felt like I was at Berlin, like I was always turning, and I never knew where I needed to be. I was young. That was my very first year of racing. I didn't start racing until I was 22 because I was a NASCAR. I was a Cup crew chief in 1984 for the Levi Garrett car, Joe Ruttman. So, I'm a fabricator mechanic first, crew chief. Then I started racing. I started racing when I was 22. And, so when I first came there, I really think Kalamazoo was the second race of my life ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it could have been second or third. I think it was, the track's gone now, but it was Cincinnati, the one off the side of the highway. It's gone now. Then I think I ran, in my second race of my life, I had no idea I did. I outrun Bob Seneca. I run fourth at Cayuga, the old Cayuga. And then I think it might have been Kalamazoo, the third race. But yeah, it was a long time ago, guys. I recognize that. I know I'm old. But yeah, those were great experiences.
And that's where tonight's podcast. We have Kenny Head, who's a legend at Kalamazoo. We have Matt Prieur, who's a legend in announcing. We have you, who's a legend in so many different ways. And so there's no old to it. You just know what you're doing, and you get to showcase your talent in front of a hardcore fan base in Kalamazoo for the Hot Shoe 100 this weekend with 55. I think the last number is what I saw. Matt Prieur would, will tell us more, but I think it's 55 modifieds will be on the property this weekend. So that's huge.
That's a low car count. At Kinross, there were 70. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's, again, it's going to be exciting. And I know, again, you're on vacation, so I don't want to keep you any longer because you're taking time out of your night to be with us. So I definitely appreciate your flexibility and coming on and sharing your time with us tonight, all the way from Wisconsin.
Thank you. Yep. And just to shout out my wife. Here's this is my wife's Suburban. It's packed with all our merchandise. She's been having a good time this summer. So we got the Coffee with Kenny t-shirts, coffee mugs, decals. So she's going to be set up wherever they set up there at Kalamazoo. So go see my wife.
That's right. Go see Miss Kim. Go buy some stuff for Miss Kim this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, and again,
Thank you.
Definitely safe travels. And when you go by Bridgman, Michigan, exit 16, if you do a little honker wave on Thursday, I'll know it's you because you have to pass me to get to Kalamazoo. So again, safe travels, but enjoy your family vacation because racing's busy and we all deserve a breakaway. So again, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, guys. Okay, see you all then. Bye-bye.
See you all. Again, thank you so much, Kenny Wallace, for joining us tonight on the Monday Night Rewind. And I know Evan got to hang out for a little bit. So, so Evan, I know we kept you way longer than what we were thinking, but I thought, how often is it that a rising star gets to share the screen? You don't get to share the track with him this weekend because you'll be at Flyer Boy, but share the screen with such a legend. And he gave you a shout out while he was talking.
He did. That's cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I could have kicked you off. I have that power, but that's not fair.
I have nothing to do for the rest of the night, so that fantastic opportunity to be with Kenny Wallace.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
And I kept you on screen for most of the time, other than when I zoomed to him. So again, you got to share the screen with Kenny Wallace. So again, thank you, Drew Jack. He worked magic behind the scenes so that way we could keep the show going, and I didn't have to jump in and off. But what that also means is let's do some programming notes while we're at it, because
let's do it. Yeah, I'm sweating, so I need a break.
With some flexibility. Again, appreciate Kenny Head hanging out. I know Matt Prieur was getting dinner and everything, so he's listening to background, so that gives him time. But Kenny's been sitting around. So again, I'm excited to have Kenny Head. I'm such a huge fan of what he does, and to talk mini wedges here. Again, if you haven't seen what they're doing up at Kalamazoo in Berlin with the Family Fun Mini Wedges, you need to check them out. They've really taken that program to the next level, and they're not even done yet. They just have a solid foundation to work on. And then, of course, Matt Prieur. So Kenny Head, we're going to be bringing on here in just a second. Again, he's been waiting patiently. And then Matt Prieur will be coming on. And Matt has so much to unpack tonight. He's going to talk about the Move Over Michigan Dirt Modified Series that he's a part of. Obviously, we're going to talk Hot Shoe 100, which I said Super Shoe on accent earlier. Drew Jack's like, Hot Shoe. And I said, what did I say? Because I don't even know what I said. You got Kenny Wallace right there. And I'm like, Super Shoe, Hot Shoe, it's all the same right now. But it wasn't. Obviously, two very different things. But again, so I apologize that I said Super Shoe. But, we got Matt Prieur, who'll be talking Hot Shoe 100. If he wants to mention reveal, once he's on, it's kind of his show to take over from there. And he'll be talking his career in general. Again, one of the top announcers. And this was from last year. He won the media award. So actually on the same stream, you're going to have the last two media award winners for the Michigan Fan Club, because I got it in the year just before him. So I don't know if two have been on the same screen at the same time in a while. So get to share that moment with him. But other than that, we started chatting with almost an hour ago, an hour ago, with Evan. So Evan's been with us for an hour. I appreciate Buju and Evan for taking over the show while we were definitely working things behind the scenes, getting Kenny on, getting Matt on, getting Kenny Wallace on. So, and again, shout out to Drew Jack for doing some extra groundwork for us to make that happen. So other than that, I always got to make sure I click these right things here. So back to Evan. So again, Evan, if you're welcome to stay and watch the show, I'm going to hide you in the screen so we can bring Kenny on to talk mini wedges. But I definitely appreciate you. I mean, for an hour, you hung out with us and you took over the show too. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me and letting me share the screen with Kenny Wallace.
Oh, absolutely. So Saturday, then that means you want an onboard camera. Wink, wink. You don't have to answer, by the way.
Absolutely.
Saves me some work.
Yeah. Be like, hey, remember when, you want this camera, but no, again, Evan, I know I'm such a huge fan of you and so many people are. So I'm excited to see you at New Paris, and New Paris is excited to see you too. I know that for sure. So we'll definitely be seeing you on Saturday.
All right. See you Saturday.
Oh, yeah. All right. So again, we have Kenny Head, who is joining us to talk about mini wedges, or as I call him, President Kenny Head. So, did I mute you? Maybe I muted you. Nope. I think you muted yourself. Yeah, there we go. So thank you for your patience tonight too, and waiting and hanging out. So I know I kind of told you that Kenny may jump on at any moment now. So, and just as I was getting ready to switch over to you, all of a sudden I see Kenny Wallace has entered the green room. Oh,
well, that's definitely it was definitely a tough act to follow there. That guy is what a great interview. I mean, what a great guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to be like him when I grow up.
Yeah, amen, Kenny. I'm with you.
Well, and that's where, we had you on earlier. You were one of our first guests, in our batch here, and we're now in episode 25. Can you believe that we've been doing this for 25 weeks now? So, and sometimes with head-to-head competition, doing pretty well at that too. So that's even more exciting, is the growth that we've had, and it's certainly because of people like you who support Top Row, Monday Night Rewind. And so to have you back on, it's very honoring again to have you on to talk about mini wedges and update us on, we know what you were doing when we were in the off season talking about it, but now we're in the season. You've had several weeks of racing. You have a huge event coming up on August 30th, obviously postseason shows. So why don't you give us a little bit of like a state of the union, on where things are, and then where do you go forward from here as you look for some of your big shows?
Well, it's hard to even know where to start. It's so busy. Like this weekend, we're Berlin on Wednesday. We're back there on Saturday, and then we have our Sunday show at Kalamazoo this week. So we'll be running our people a little ragged this week, but it's a it's a labor of love. I mean, everybody that helps us in our crew, that our team, uh, they're all great people. They love doing it just like I do. We all do it as a volunteer, but I think they just love just love it, just seeing how it grows and seeing how the growth of these young drivers are, and it just keeps getting bigger. Our Champ Cart, which is our Charger series, it didn't take off quite as quick as we thought it was going to, but boy, I tell you what, in the last few weeks, it's just blown right up. And now we've even moved into to get even younger now. We're actually doing from 2 years old to 5 years old. We've got a juice box class. It's just a super fun deal. It's electric, battery operated deal. But it's just family fun. We just love having the families and the people that actually race with us. They're all, I'd say about 95% of the people that are coming to the racetrack, they're all looking to do the same thing that we are, and is that to have fun and grow this sport, and these drivers to get their feet wet and actually give them a skill that they're going to hopefully pass on throughout their years. And I mean, my biggest thing in my drivers meeting is I'm not looking to uh, see these guys race on Sunday. My goal is to see them race on Friday and Saturday nights. That's what I want to see. And you know what? And brag a little bit. Carson Hocevar used to be my crew, or we used to be teammates or whatever. And to see him go to NASCAR is cool. But I know the struggles that the family had and the sacrifices that they put up with or whatever. And Scott and Amy, they put a lot into Carson, and Um, I don't know, if I'd like to see too many families, put their life on the line that way or whatever, but it worked out for them. I just want to see these kids racing and having fun on a Friday, Saturday night. That's my goal.
Well, and you have Taylor Sexton, right? Who, you were part of Little Kalamazoo and saw that evolve and come
Hmm.
to where it is today, having a huge NASCAR event over the weekend, youth series. And now so you have Taylor, as a resource, who's your race director, who's with you and gets to mentor these kids who could be like, hey, you put in the work, you put in the time, you put in these things. You could be racing a late model on Friday night or a street stock or a Hornet or whatever, right? Like whatever it is you want to race, you can do that. And so, what has it been like, not only to have you and your veteranship with all your success, but then to have someone like Taylor on that opposite end who's still, I mean, her career is still starting, right? Like, I mean, she's into it, but she's still building that and establishing herself. So what's it like for you to have someone like her on the team helping to mentor these kids where it's like you don't have to just listen to me. You have someone who's literally here Friday night putting the same laps in.
Go back even farther, Lewis. I was working at the Little Kalamazoo Speedway when Taylor started racing her quarter midget.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I watched some of her first laps as well. Some of the kids that are racing today is, her brother, Brock Gannis, some of the Bozell boys. I mean, there's so many kids that come through them rankings already. And but to lean on Taylor, she's very, she's got the she's got the attitude that you need, and she can get down on their level and explain to them, uh, in layman's terms, how a kid would talk to a kid. And I'm not calling her a kid but she understands how to talk to the kids. Um, that's why I'm the one that takes care of the adults. So I, I, I do that part of it. But Taylor is a great race director. She's definitely she we I had to race direct a couple weeks ago up at Berlin on a Wednesday night, and boy did I miss her. I uh, I I did okay. We didn't have anybody die, which is great. Um, but she's when she's gone, it's a big hole, and it is for a lot of the other people that are racing with us too. I've got a great tech team. The girls that check everybody in. When we're missing one or two of those people or whatever, there's a big hole there, and it's we got a great group of people that work well together, and I'm very very fortunate to have that. And it's really kind of neat too because um, they're volunteer people or whatever, and we've got some people that would like to come and help us or whatever, which we've kind of entertained that a little bit, but we have such a good group of people that we work with. The dynamic, I don't want to screw that part of it up. So we really selective on who we bring in. So, but it's great. The whole program, as far as the people that we have working with us, and I just can't praise those people enough. As much we run them ragged, like I said, this is our third Wednesday in a row running at Berlin, and then we back there on Saturday, and then race on Sunday. So it gets toward the end of the year. It's going to be pretty busy this month, but I can't tell them how much I appreciate them and the drivers and the crews and stuff like that because it is a busy time of the year.
Well, and August 30th. I think you announced it last week. I'm pretty sure you announced it. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that's coming up, that opportunity for your program on that day?
Yeah, we have a big race. We got a big sponsor that came in and wants to help us out, trying to make a big show out of it. He wanted us to start off with throwing a bunch of money at these races or whatever, but in the state of Michigan, you got to be real careful. You can't pay kids to race uh, with that because of the everything that goes on with the schools. You start paying kids to race, they turn into professionals and they can't play their amateur sports in school. So we've come up with a little bit of a deal where we're going to make the trophies very expensive. Um, we're going to have about we're going to have at least $4,000 in trophies that we're
Wow.
going to put out there. That's the sponsor that I have that the guys stepped up and wanted to do. So, and you can take that trophy apart or whatever, and you'd be able to sell a good portion of it, and you could, if you wanted to. I don't know that I would after you get it, but um, it's going to be, it's actually going to have silver in the trophy itself.
Wow.
That's why we're calling it the Quicksilver series or the Quicksilver race. Uh, Pretty excited about it. We're probably figuring it's going to be probably the biggest show that we've had. We're gonna Format's going to be basically we're gonna do some qualifying and some practice, some qualifying, and we're probably going to have just enough time because it's a Sunday show only. We'll probably be running features only, but it's going to be a big race. Very excited. Already got confirmation that there's kids coming from all over the place, from southern Ohio to Tennessee. I've heard Illinois. So, but the mini wedge thing's blown up. I mean, it's really kind of, it's really, I think it's been blown up for quite a few years. And I can't take credit for that part of it, but our program is very, the best way to say it is people want to race with us. The people that want to race with us are the ones that want to race with a fair, honest, safe place to race. So them are the people that we want to attract, anyways. We don't deal with people that want to stretch the rules very much. There's stretching and there's breaking, and we don't deal with that very well. Um, my wife and I 2 years ago went through those rules and with a fine tooth comb and made them very easy to read, and they're well written, easy to follow, and if you can't follow those rules to the T, um, we'll, we just don't accept it. So, but it's a great program. I encourage people to come out and watch Wednesday at Berlin this week, Saturday at Berlin this week, and then for Sunday at Kalamazoo. You could come out and watch the future of the racing. It's really going to be it's pretty big. And yeah, I know you got Matt Prieur coming out, and he's a big advocate for our program as well. He Whenever we're at Berlin, he makes sure he stops down there. He's getting all the information on these kids, and he's on Flow talking about it. He does a phenomenal job with that, and I do appreciate him as an announcer. He does a great job.
Oh, and that's where I'm excited to have someone like Matt, on. Again, we had him last Thursday. Now we get him back today. That he's taken a lot of his time to dedicate, and that's the kind of person that he is. But it also speaks volumes to the kind of person that you are. I know you don't like to always take your own accolades and take your flowers, but I mean, certainly with what you've done with this program, taking it to where it is, and again, it's just the foundation. There's still so much that you want to do with it, and so much that you want to take it into the future, so that eventually, when someone else takes it over, they have the tools and the resources to be successful with it. So it's kudos to you that when you have someone like a Matt Prieur endorsing you, when you have others, endorsing what you're doing, kids and parents willing to drive from all these states to
Yeah, I mean,
be in
you
Kalamazoo.
go back and look at the chat tonight, Kenny. It's nothing but love for you in the program here tonight.
Yeah.
So.
So again, that's something that's awesome that you're doing that. And I know for your team, and you know it, right? Like there's a grind, and this is your stretch. It's going to be a grind, but we're only a few weeks away from going, man, kind of wish I was at the track on Sunday. So, we're gonna forget, or we're gonna wish we had it, when it's missing in our routines.
Last year we didn't ran our super shoe before the big super shoe at Kalamazoo, and we actually it was kind of we had really good weather in October, and there was probably 3 weekends that were very good Sundays that we could have been racing, and I was kind of chomping at the bit to get back to the racetrack even in October. So no, I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love and I'd love to take credit for all of it, but I could not take even part of the credit. There's 15 of us that run that program or whatever, and it's every single person that I owe the respect to, that the reason that program is successful, and it becomes more successful because of their time and their effort. They all look at the same way I do. Um, they just want to have fun, and they want to see these kids race on Saturdays and Fridays nights or whatever. So, and that's what I want to see. I want to see my uh, that's what I want to see my grandson, or at least one of them. I want to see them race, and that's why I do what I do. It's not the only reason, but we got to keep racing alive, and if we start them early, uh, I just think there's a much better chance of getting some more racers more involved and getting this back to where it was. I'd love to see it like it was back in the the 80s and the 70s. I come from a family that I'm a third generation driver. My son's a fourth generation driver, so we've been around it our whole life. I mean, the heads have been. That's if there's a racetrack somewhere going in Michigan or whatever that goes in circle, there's probably been a head there sometime.
Well, and I mean, even with all that, right? That's where, watching the chat, seeing people come in. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you guys have, again, because you come from a family who has grown up in it, has been a part of it, has been, breathes it, lives it, bleeds it, all these things. So, what are some ways that you guys have tried to recruit, or some ways you would like to start recruiting those kids when they're younger? I know you guys have done Try a Ride. I think somebody took their mini wedge to an elementary school building, which I know you can't just put kids. Take that from a former teacher. You just can't do that.
No,
Where
you
you
can't
just
do
put
that.
them in a car and let them go, because I can already
Yeah.
predict a lot of ways that could go south. But
Yeah.
right, like touching it, seeing it, feeling it, like
Just knowing it exists. I mean,
knowing it
That's
exists.
you know
yeah.
what, you're exactly right. If we could get this in front of some more people or whatever, just to show them. I had a young lady actually reach out to me last week or whatever. Her son is just infatuated with racing, and she wanted to come out, and I invited her out as a guest of mine to come to the racetrack and just see it. Just come out,
Yeah.
smell it, hear it, and just see what goes on. And we've had families that came from, I really kind of, this one family sticks out. The Campbells actually went to a dirt track, and I'm not knocking dirt tracks, don't get me wrong. They went to a dirt track, watch a mini wedge race, and then they found out that we were racing the very next day. They came to our racetrack, and they seen the program, and we, the way we ran it or whatever. Um, they went out the next week, and they bought a one mini wedge, and then they found another mini wedge, and they put both their boys in it, and now they've been racing with us all year, and it's great. And then they don't have a racing background as far as the family goes, but they're absolutely having a ball.
And I think that's that's one of the great things about mini wedges is when I was a kid, my dad bought me a go-kart, and we raced here in North Liberty, and it was too advanced for us. My dad's not a car guy at all. We were out of our element. We didn't know what we were doing. Mini wedges are much simpler than the go-kart world is. It's a much easier entry point for a family that doesn't necessarily have a racing background. So, like, to the point we were making earlier, getting in front of people and letting them know that it exists definitely matters.
Yeah, absolutely. We invite anybody. You know what? Get a hold of me if you want to come out and watch or whatever. Look me up on Facebook. Get a hold of me. Um, it's not about us making the money or whatever. I just rather have some people come out and see what's going on and see what we do.
Yeah.
I encourage it. Come on out.
6 wedges. Holy cow. That's a lot to. Well, I know the Vitalis, right? Like, anytime I'm there, and I think this Sunday I'm at your show. I think you're on my schedule for Sunday. Pretty sure you are.
Awesome.
If not, you will be. But unless you tell me different, of course.
Nope,
But
never.
that
Always welcome, Luke. You're always welcome.
but that's where watching the Vitalis the one day when they're just everywhere, watching them do their thing, where it's like that's a lot to manage. And I know when you're on our show, speaking of a lot to manage, obviously you don't have a race car that you're managing much anymore, but you have this program. I also know that you kind of mentioned you're looking to maybe do some like winter things. Do you know where that might be? Anything that you can say there, or still a work in progress?
Still work in process. I've got the problem is there's these buildings that we're looking at or whatever. They want to do 12-month leases or even a 6-month
Oh,
lease. We're looking to do weekends, a
Yeah.
couple weekends here and there. Still in the process part of it or whatever. I'm not giving up on it. So I even had a realtor come to work the other day or whatever, gave me a this building that's for sale. It's only $800,000. I could just run it in there if you wanted to. But yeah, if I had $800,000,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be buying a building to put mini wedges in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's not a dead thing yet. But I still I'd like to find a place. If anybody knows a place that we can do a couple weekends this winter, boy, my eyes are open to it. I'd love to see it.
What I know you guys got such huge praise from the Rumble and Fort Wayne staff, last year with the way that you guys ran things, the way you were on top of everything, prepared. You had kids in the right place at the right time, sometimes even ahead of schedule, where you guys were Johnny on the spot and we're all lined up, we're ready to go. For a staff like that, who's also a veteran and who's worked long time together and have thousands of drivers come through over the many years they've been doing it, for you guys to stand out like that, I thought that was a huge kudos again to everyone who's involved. I know Joe Schaefer was there, Eddie Benjamin was there, who, Eddie and Joe you can see on Friday nights in KTS or with Reveal the Hammer or 500 Tour, doing safety. So, you have a team like that, plus Taylor. So before we let you get going, you've mentioned them, but would you like to give their, shout out names and sponsors of those who help? And if you forget someone, we will not judge you because it's also Monday and you've had a
You
long
won't
work
judge
day.
me, but the people that forget will judge me.
Yeah.
You could
Uh,
say, or what, job descriptions are always like and other duties as assigned. So you can say and as other people assigned.
I wouldn't even take a chance right now because I know I'm going to
Okay.
forget about half of them. But
Oh boy.
every single one of them. I mean, from my ex crew chief. I mean, he's got involved in this, and his family, Todd and his wife Kim and daughter. I mean, just Chris Blanche and Taylor and Penny, which is Joe Schaefer's wife. She's our
Mhm.
scorer, and then Michelle Sexton. Uh, we there's just so many people that do this, and I love them all. And I never thought that getting out of a race car was what I really wanted to do, but I don't regret it. I love this is taking the place of of course it's quite a bit different on this roll side or whatever. I still love racing. But what I miss the most is working in the shop, and then but I don't miss. I still wait around for the rain to stop when you're a promoter, um, but I don't miss those parts of those days. But uh, I just love the sport, and I want to see it grow, and that's kind of what keeps me going, and everyone that's helping us, same thing.
Well, again, if you've not been out to Kalamazoo to see them or Berlin on Wednesdays, definitely follow Kalamazoo Speedway Mini Wedges on Facebook for schedule updates and where they plan to be. It's definitely a program you need to go see. And if you have kids and you're thinking about getting into racing, come on out. And of course, I know Wedge Innovations has been in the chat. They definitely have come onto the scene very fast, very quick. And, they've definitely put out some competitive carts for people to race. But I know in your program, you have other chassis builders too. They're not just all Wedge Innovations. So I know you get some of that Northern Indiana crowd who comes up, and you've worked with the Plymouth crew on like every other week. So that way, you both all realize like we can't just stomp on each other. This is for the kids. So I know they've given you praise on that. You've given them praise on that. Like, hey, we can actually work together because it's for the kids. So I know there's Wedge Innovations isn't the only chassis out there, but certainly that's a group that you can contact and get a hold of. I forget off the top of my head the other ones right now, but I know there's a bunch out there.
There
But
is.
so again, come on out, see all the different types out there. And again, August 30th, Sunday, August 30th,
Yep.
huge
Huge
show
race. Yep.
at Kalamazoo, and it's $10 to get in, right? Or is that different that day?
That's a $10 day.
Yep.
Yep.
So $10. They have bleachers in the infield. They roll them out so you can sit in bleachers comfortably. You can bring lawn chairs to sit to. They do have everything roped off so you know where you can and can't go. But definitely, come on out one of these days, Kalamazoo or Berlin, to check out the Family Fun Mini Wedges. So, Kenny, I know you've been on a long time too. So, is there anything that you feel like we might be missing before we bring on Matt?
I don't think we missed much or whatever. I really appreciate you having us on. This, having this kind of deal as far as coverage goes on our program. We appreciate you, Lewis. We really do. I mean, it's this, like I said, getting eyes on our programs, what we're trying to do, and this helps out a ton, and we appreciate you as well.
Well, flowers aren't for me; they're for you and your team. But I definitely appreciate that, and I'm a big fan of you, and I have your back. So anytime I can help, and give the mini wedges a platform to be on and showcase, because as you said, they are our future. Walking at Little Kalamazoo this past Friday, walking around there, seeing teams that I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you since the Rumble, and getting a chance to connect. And some of them are like, don't forget we're on your onboard camera list. I'm like, I know you've been on since last year. People are excited for that. But again, it's how can we give the future stars their platform to start building on, because I mean, Evan's proof. These kids are not, and some of them are about to age out. They're not that far away from taking on the big cars and the big stars wherever they race, whether that's Corrigan or Kalamazoo or Berlin or Plymouth or Allegan, excuse me, Angola, and 40, anywhere, right?
Anywhere, yes, absolutely.
And so again,
anywhere, any class.
So again, thank you so much, Kenny, for joining us tonight, and
you, guys.
Of course being flexible. Like I said, when you came on, I'm like, Kenny Wallace is supposed to be on, but he's not on yet. But he's in Wisconsin, so we think there might be some. It's okay. We made it work, and of course Matt's been super flexible too, so I appreciate that. And I know he gets to talk all about hot shoe and everything else. So, so again, Kenny, we will see you on Sunday if we don't. Oh yeah, I won't be at Kalamazoo this week, so we'll definitely see you on Sunday.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Boozoo, have a great night.
Thanks, again, Kenny. Thank you so much. You too. And again, Family Fun Mini Wedges. Oh, legends! I thought I said
Kenny's a legend. That's all.
Absolutely, but because I started to say wedges and you said legend, I'm like, wait, did I miss?
I wasn't correcting you. I was just making a statement about Kenny Head.
But again, tomorrow, today's Monday, so 2 days from now at Berlin, and then this Sunday at Kalamazoo after Hot Shoe 100. So again, thank you so much, Kenny. Have a great rest of your night.
You too, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So again, Matt Prieur is about to join us. He's been patient, but I know he was eating and all that. So I'm like, at least I gave him time to breathe, because when he talks about his schedule and all the projects he's doing and everything else, you're going to wonder, like, does he even sleep? Because I don't think so. But we did miss the top of the hour. So I do just want to remind everyone, again, you're watching the Monday Night Rewind presented by National Compact Touring Series, Federated Auto Parts, ELH Detailing, and of course, Top Row Racing Media. Don't forget, this Thursday, I'm flying solo, so it won't be a long show unless someone wants to join me as a co-host, because Boozoo will be busy at a racetrack on Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
But I will be here with the Thursday Night Throttle that you can throttle up with us, where we preview the upcoming weekend. Definitely a heavy emphasis on Flagger Boy. We'll, of course, remind Hot Shoe, but Hot Shoe gets the Monday flagship show. So, we're going to give Flagger Boy all it's due on Thursday, too. And then, of course, we'll be also talking Hartford, Night of Destruction. So that's also this weekend. So we learned last week that Matt Prieur got to call a Combine Demolition Derby. So if you've never seen one of those, Matt's gotten to do that. Or should I say, I forgot to bring him on while I did his graphic. Oh, I messed that up. Fire the production guy. But we have Matt Prieur, or should I say, hold on, Kenny Prieur. Just have Kenny. So...
Well, for today, I think I'm Kenny Evan Prieur.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I like that.
There we go. But Evan was kind of, we brought him on because, with him coming to Flagger Boy and all that, but street stock racer, just fresh off his season, it's like, let's get someone on to kind of do a lead in too. It's like having a band before the band. And again, it's been such a huge, strong episode for us, and you get to be the capper on it. And I know it's like all these tough acts to follow, but if anyone can do it, Matt Prieur, the voice of the Reveal the Hammer, the voice of the Hot Shoe 100, the voice of Michigan Dirt Track Racing Series, if I got that name right. If not, you'll correct me. Move Over Michigan, I know that part, but I think I screwed up the name. But everything, and hockey, you do it. I'm sure if there was paint drying, you'd make that sound exciting too. So, again, you're just such a legend with what you do. So welcome back to the Monday Night Rewind.
Appreciate you guys for having me on again. I know it seems like it's forever since we talked.
I know.
I know.
What, a few
Yeah.
days? What?
Yeah, well, and it sounds like we don't have echoing today. I've not seen one darn thing about an echo. Earlier, I think Evan's cell phone was picking up
Yeah.
Buju and our mic.
Mhm.
So someone said you kind of sound like ducks, but it wasn't like what it was last week. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a win in itself because good Lord, I paid a lot of money today to make sure that didn't happen. So, you know, it's
Right.
at least working, and the green room worked like it's supposed to. I actually like it. If it wasn't so expensive, I would keep it, but it's like $299, Matt. It's $299 just for that green room. That's expensive, but it worked. I got to talk with everyone. We did mic checks. So again, thank you so much for not only putting up with us last Thursday and working through the technical difficulties, but so far it sounds like other than a little earlier today, things are great. So I know you have a lot to unpack. We're about 20-ish minutes behind. So thank you for your flexibility. Oh, 30 minutes behind, but thank you for your flexibility. So where do you want to start?
Well, it's past my bedtime, so I'll try to get through as quick as I can here.
Oh,
so,
boy.
You get a little older, you know, your bedtime gets a little earlier, and all. At least like to wait till at least the sun goes down. So I probably got another hour or two.
Okay. Well, yeah, and today's the last sunset after 9 p.m. Everything until mid-May is before 9 p.m. So you might as well enjoy the final sunset after 9 because it won't come back until mid-May next year in 2027. So a few minutes to enjoy it.
Yeah, I've always thought, you know, in years past, you know, my birthday was July 24th, and usually when my birthday comes and goes, I know we're about the 3/4 mark of the racing season.
Yeah.
And then by default, I start, you know, meshing racing with hockey. My hockey schedules came out today, so I just had to put that all on my calendar. Then I looked at my calendar and went, "Oh, what the hell?"
Yeah.
So, but no, Hot Shoe 100 race weekend at Kalamazoo Speedway. It's the crown jewel of modified racing in the country. One of the things we're very happy to have Kenny Wallace. He is just a wealth of knowledge. Looking forward to seeing him again. Him and I go back a few years. Would have loved to have seen Kenny Head jump into a modified just once. You know, I bet we can find him a modified. He'd be eligible for the new shoe shootout.
Oh, see, there we go. Come out of retirement just for a little bit.
Yeah. But no, as of this moment, released the official roster this morning. Since then, we've had one withdraw, so we're at 53 modifieds, and no, we're not starting them all. It's going to be split up into top 24 in qualifying, locked in. And it's going to kind of explain how the new shoe shootout works.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Wallace kind of alluded to it a little bit. He's ineligible because he ran in Hot Shoe 100A feature back in 2019 at Kinross Raceway Park. It's very simple. The requirements for it is you have not been able to have started an A feature in the entire history of the race. That's literally the criteria. So if Carson Hocevar wants to fly over from Iowa on Friday and he gets himself a car, he's eligible for the new shoe. I mean, it's basically what it is. It was a way that Bud Gray III and Amy Gray, the co-founders of the Hot Shoe, wanted to generate new names, new players to come in, you know, try to attempt to race in the Hot Shoe. I mean, it's the biggest modified race in the country. And we announced it this morning. We bumped up the pay. It's now $12,000 to win. $1,200 just to start. So
wow.
You know, level ground excavating qualifying, which starts at 4:00 on Saturday, it's going to be insane. I mean, the top 24 locked in, and if the big thing with the new shoe shootout, not only you get the 2,000 to win for the new shoe, you're the only provisional guaranteed to get into the Hot Shoe on Saturday. Not even Kenny Wallace gets a provisional.
Yeah.
He's not eligible for the new shoe. So the winner of the new shoe shootout is, like I said, he gets the win, he gets the feature win, and he's the only driver on the property guaranteed to run Saturday night's main event.
Wow. And I know he talked a little bit about that pressure earlier when we had Kenny Wallace on about qualifying and putting good laps, right? Like having the car spot on. And so I think that's what makes this format so interesting. And this is the 12th year, right? That's why it's 12,000 is that, again, there's no guarantees. You could be the biggest star of all. You can have 20 track championships to your career, but if you're not 24 or provisional number 25, you pack up just like the rest of them.
Well, back in 2024, for the Hot Shoe 100 at Kalamazoo Speedway, Brian Nestor, the most successful driver in hot shoe history. He's won 4 of them. The next one closest to him is Blake Rose, won 3. Well, Brian Nestor, as well as the defending track champion at that time at Owasso, David McManus, they didn't qualify in the top 24. Guess what they raced? They ran the B feature.
Yeah.
There is no transfer. There is no transfer race. It's straight out of qualifying. So you would have thought that B feature back then, oh my God, it'd have been a feature anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
But that's what's the fun part about it. It puts everything into, the practice sessions. I'm not a big fan of a whole lot of practice on pavement, but for the hot shoe, you almost have to have it. You really do. Yeah. I mean, the Friday, the 2 60-minute sessions, and you got the 1 60-minute session on Saturday. And again, if you're not in the top 24, there is no last chance race. There is no hooligan race. If you don't get in the top 24, you're not racing the AMA. And if it's now $1,200 just to start, I mean, how important is qualifying then, boys?
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's, so when you have something like that, because you know the format, you've been around it for a while now. And it's kind of evolved, right? So, have you guys ever had mods in the past who, and obviously we're not going to call out drivers, but with this format, have you ever had like mods in the past? Like sometimes you see at other shows where they kind of play the game a little bit and like, oh, I'll get in, no big deal. Or I just got to kind of do this and I get in. Or do you guys has this truly been like when people show up there, strap up right away, ready to go? Because again, some formats, dirt, wherever, you've kind of seen some drivers and then they go to social media and complain about it. But it's like, but fans are going to call them out. Well, you didn't do this and you didn't do this and you didn't practice this. And there are things you didn't do. So, how have you seen this evolve to where it's now like, so I don't want to say cutthroat, but like literally a split hair can be the difference.
I mean, if any team plans on quote unquote sandbagging, to try to get a good starting spot, they're probably going to end up in the B feature.
Yeah.
The top 24 qualifiers last year at Owasso Speedway were separated by 0.19 seconds. And if you were 2/10 off a fast time, which is a great qualifying time, if you were 2/10 off fast time, you're running the B feature.
Yep.
Just the way it was. I mean, last year, Jordan Gatton, he won the new shoe shootout last year. He qualified. He was maybe 0.3 of a second off fast time. He would, if he didn't have the new shoe shootout provisional, he would have been running the B feature just like a lot of guys, a lot of good cars. Mm-hmm. I mean, you need to be on your game. I mean, especially during level ground excavating qualifying at 4:00 on Saturday, you need to absolutely be on your game. 0.19 seconds, that's faster than that.
Crazy. So what do you think will be because you've been to Kalamazoo a couple times, or was it just the one show this year? I can't remember if you came to the second mod show. You might have
I was not able to make either of the mod races.
Oh no, you were there for late models. That's
yes,
right.
I was there for the Intimidator.
Yeah.
I was unfortunately not able to make the 2 modified races, but I watched your highlights. I studied my race pass, just kind of getting a feel for everything. Ricky LeDuc is going to be a driver to watch for sure, and he's in the new shoe shootout. He's only you can count on one hand and have a finger or two left over how many times Ricky LeDuc has been in a modified. He's going to be tough. That new shoe shootout is going to be awesome. Ricky LeDuc, you got Connor Landis, you got Matthew Elsey Jr., Matt Elsey. I mean, you've got some dogs in that new shoe shootout on Friday.
Well, I think I'm so glad that you brought up Matthew Elsey Jr. because obviously fans in the area know the dominance that he has had in the front wheel drive. And sometimes you get conversations from fans and some drivers, man, we wish he would do something different. Man, we wish if he wasn't here, others would be racing. Well, guess what, folks? He's in a modified and at Kalamazoo twice this year. I don't know. I forget how he did at Owasso, but twice this year at Kalamazoo, he's been I think top 5 both times, or if not pretty darn close. And that's rookie modified. I mean, he literally had one race last year in a modified at Kalamazoo during Super Shoe, which is unofficial stuff, right? That's just VA.
And he also went to the Snowball Derby.
Snowball Derby, yeah. Yep, but then they got a different modified, so it's a completely different modified. It's a winning modified. I mean, they definitely got a good one, and but you still have to fix the car. You still have to work on the car. You still have to set up the car. You still have to do all that, and they've been able to do that. So I'm glad that you brought up a name like that because he's kind of flown under the radar, but just because I mean he's already got pretty close to track championship again, wrapped up at Kalamazoo in the front wheel drives. But if you haven't watched him in a modified, he knows what he's doing. He's very talented.
Well, Matthew Elsey Jr. is just a special talent all around. I mean, his front wheel drive accolades, I mean, they speak for themselves. And to kind of tie in my hockey stuff.
I was going to say hockey.
Jr. He was he just aged out this past season, but he played with the Fresh Coast Freeze in the United States Premier Hockey League, which is based up in Holland. My team is the Metro Jets out of Mount Clemens, Michigan. And we were in the same division. So we saw Matthew always come up and we kicked around, and BS and all that good stuff. And I've been telling him for the last 2 years, you need to get something else. You've done everything you can do in a front wheel drive. And happy to see they got a modified. I know they tried a late model for a little bit, a template late model bit. Didn't go the way they wanted. So they got a modified. And he is a talented guy. He really is. I think he's going to, if you haven't seen Matthew Elsey Jr., before, I mean, there's going to be a lot of traveling invaders, a lot of traveling fans. Maybe I haven't been to Kalamazoo Speedway before or not in many years. Matthew Elsey Jr. on Kalamazoo Speedway, you can put him in a big wheel and he'll be a top 5 car. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Don't be surprised. He wins that Friday night, that new shoe shootout on Friday.
Yeah, and again, just that new shoe, just seen all the names in that list. I mean, as you said, that's an A feature just about anywhere, right? And it'll be the feature on Friday, but if that were on a Saturday at a normal Saturday night track, Wassel, Springport, Corrigan, wherever Modified Country is, that'll be an A feature, right? And a really strong A feature. So, and as you said, that B feature, it always, kind of reminds me a few years ago of our B feature at Raber's Rumble. You looked at the names and how many champions were just in the B feature in that street stock race. You're like, this is someone else's A feature on any normal night. And it's just, that's crazy, right?
And for sure. And the car counts warrant it right now. There could even be a C feature on Saturday.
Wow.
And to show you, I mean, in years past, how talented was that field? Aaron Taylor, who is a Hot Shoe 100 winner, it wasn't so long ago that he won the C feature at his home track at Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway. A couple of years prior to that, it was I want to say Dominic Van Wieringen, winner in pro late model competition. She won the C feature. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. I mean, the B feature and even the C feature are as you said, Lewis, they're features anywhere else in the country. So you can just imagine what that A feature is going to be like on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, and they go 100 laps, and so with that. What kind of strategy with it? Obviously it's been at Owasso the last couple of years. It's been Springport before. You said Ken Ross. It travels around. So what do you think the strategy is that, someone who's watched this unfold at many places, what do you think the strategy is for a lot of teams going into Kalamazoo, especially for some who may not have been to Kalamazoo in years or ever?
Well, I mean, with the 24 cars that will start on Saturday, I mean, there aren't going to be any slouches whatsoever. I remember, what was it, last year at the Wassel Speedway? I don't think we even reached lap traffic. The leaders never got to the back of the lead pack cars to like lap 40.
Wow.
Something like that. There's a fuel stop in there between lap 60 and 65.
Okay, yep.
So you want to position yourself to be in the hunt, basically. And that sounds a lot easier than what it actually is. Again, we go back to last year, 0.19 seconds separating first to 24th. You want to at least be in the hunt coming out of the fuel break. And then, you just go from there. I mean, last year's race at Owasso, pair of number 7s, what a battle. Matt Dimmitt and Josh Ware, two of the very best modified drivers in the country, not just in the state of Michigan, not just in the Great Lakes Midwest region. They're two of the very best in the country. I mean, Matt Dimmons had a special 2025 year, no doubt about it. Midwest Championship before, unfortunately, that series went away. Those two drivers, and they're both going to be at Kalamazoo. They're two heavy hitters. You got Trevor Berry leading the way in the new Michigan Modified Series no matter where Trevor Berry goes, he's a top contender. You got David McManus, who's been so good on the East Side the last few years. And honestly, I think Brian Bergacre, who's gonna make one of his rare appearances in a modified, I really believe that he's gonna be one of the guys to beat. If you're looking for a hometown home track favorite, if you will, Brian Bergacre is definitely going to be one to watch as well.
Well, and again, that's when you have a list of 53 now modifieds. That's still, I mean, you just have cars coming from everywhere. I think it was how many different states did you?
8 different states and 1 Canadian province.
Yep, I was thinking 7, but I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong number, so I would have been off 1. But yeah, 8 U.S. states, 1 Canadian province. Again, talent from all over, and you're someone who obviously gets to watch a lot of these drivers in a lot of different places. And so, if you had to pick, not to put you on the spot, but if you had to pick. You studied my race pass, right? You've done this a long time. You know what you're doing. You've race directed. You've ran tracks. You've done all this. What do you think the time difference at Kalamazoo, based on what you've seen so far this year, what do you think will be the difference between 1 through 24 if you had to pick a number and just randomly guess? We won't quote you, where if it's not that number, we'll be like, well, Matt, you weren't right. But like if you had to guess based on your studying.
Man, well, like I said, Owasso last year was 0.19. I would expect anywhere from 0.2 of a second down to 0.15. It's going to be that close. You're going to have to be on the ball just to make the show. And I see the question there. The inversion, the top 10 redraw for the inversion. So the top 10, so the fastest qualifier, for example, let's say who it is. Lewis Noakes, fast qualifier. He'll be the first one to draw between 1 and 10, and it'll go all the way down to the 10th fastest qualifier. So that's basically the inversion, if you will, for the Hot Shoe 100. But to answer the question, anywhere between 0.15 to 0.2. Wow. I think you're going to have minimum, absolute minimum quarter second. Yeah. Absolute minimum. Yeah. Be in the ballpark.
Again, this is where I'm jealous that I'm missing it on Friday and Saturday, but I know I'll definitely be watching my race pass and watching to see how everyone's doing, because it's a cool get for Kalamazoo to have an opportunity like this to put on a modified showcase. And so do you want to talk a little bit about for those who may not know the Hot Shoe history in the next 12 years, if you want to talk a little bit about some tracks that they have been to, because I think, and Matt, you'll definitely correct me if I'm wrong, because again, you definitely know, but this is the first time it's been at Kalamazoo, right? Or first time in a really long time that it's been at Kalamazoo. So if you want to talk a little bit about the history for those who maybe not know, why should they care about Hot Shoe, or why Hot Shoe is the crown jewel modified race of open wheel racing?
Well, the Hot Shoe 100 started back in 2014 at Whittemore Speedway as an idea of Bud and Amy Gray. Bud, if you don't know who Bud Gray III is, long time modified, a super late model competitor. Matter of fact, he's got a win at Kalamazoo Speedway in the old USA Modified Series. Him and his wife Amy want to put together a big modified race. At the time, there really wasn't anything up here other than the USA Modified Series, which eventually became the Midwest Modifieds Tour. But there wasn't really that big race per se. There was the Run for the Gun down at Winchester. There was a Snowball Derby for modifieds at Pensacola, but there was nothing up here in Michigan. So 2014, they put together a race at Whittemore Speedway, fast quarter mile up in Whittemore, Michigan, the northern lower peninsula, let's call it. If you ever seen someone from Michigan do this,
yep,
there we go. So it'd be right about there. That's where Whittemore, Michigan is.
Yeah.
But they put it together, and from 2014 to 2018, they were at Whittemore Speedway. The 5 races there, 4 of them were won by Brian Nestor. He's statistically wise, he's the best driver in Hot Shoe 100 history, and he'll be at Kalamazoo Speedway this weekend. 2019, the 1 year, the race went up to the Michigan's Upper Peninsula, to Kinross Raceway Park. That's the race Kenny Wallace was in. Blake Rowe went to Victory Lane that day. Of course, 2020, there was not a Hot Shoe 100. There was not a lot of anything that year. But 2021 and 2022 was at Springport Mid-Michigan Speedway. Cody Stickler came up from Florida to win in 22. Blake Rowe won in 22. Cody Stickler came up in 2023. And then in 2024, moved over to Owasso, or that sounds about right. 2021 and 22 was Springport. 2023, I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm going off memory.
But that's still pretty good.
23 was at Owasso. And Blake Rowe, who has a unique distinction of winning the first appearance of a hot shoe at a brand new racetrack. He won at Kinross in 19, Springport in 21, Owasso in 23. Blake Rowe is in the field this weekend for the Hot Shoe 100. So if that holds true, you can't count out Blake Rowe. He's in that Bob Oakes, Bob's House of Speed, number 16 machine. And Blake Rowe is absolutely tough no matter where he goes. But yeah, in 23, it was Blake Rowe. 24 was the big win by Aaron Taylor, which, like I said, it makes it remarkable because back in 22, he won the C feature. Didn't even make the B feature. He won the C feature. And then a few years later, 2024, wins the Hot Shoe 100. Last year was that thrilling battle with Matt Dimon and Josh Ware. It's the crown jewel of modified racing in the country. The long-winded answer to your question, Lewis.
Yep.
It's the crown jewel. It's the one everybody wants to win. There is no modified race bigger, badder, or better. There just isn't. And Bud and Amy, they like to move it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been to Whittemore, it's been to Kinross, it's been to Springport, it's been to Owasso, and now it's his new home of Kalamazoo Speedway. And to me, source-wise, you have such a great field, a great talent of cars in the Michiana area.
Yeah.
Not only from the east side, from the central part of Michigan, from all over the country. Michiana is tough. It doesn't have to be a modified, man. I mean, you guys got the Flagger Boy this coming Saturday. The Hot Shoe has street stocks as well. I think both races are going to be just fine with the talent you guys have in Michiana. I mean, I'm not worried about either race for that. Mm-hmm. But the Kalamazoo Speedway is so centrally located that you're gonna see the best of the best. And I know, Lewis, you can't make it, but anyone else, come on out, man. You're not gonna regret it.
Well, and I think that's the thing. And hearing you say it too, Matt, I've had this conversation with a lot of people, especially when I get a chance like you to travel. You travel way more than I do, and you put way more miles than I do. And I thought I put a lot of miles on, but I don't want I know you're doing even way more than that, right? But that's one thing
for an oil change.
Yeah, they come quick.
Yeah.
And but that's why I talk about Kalamazoo all the time. And Buju and I have talked about it on this show before. Is that Kalamazoo is in such a unique spot, and really most of the tracks, whether it be South Bend or Plymouth or even New Paris to an extent, but really Kalamazoo is in such a way where on a normal Friday night, our street stock field could have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 champions of some sort from some division or some track in the area, and an A feature on a normal paying whatever they pay. I don't know the payout because I don't need to know that. That's above my pay grade. But the drivers get their pay, but a normal payout on a normal night, that's not $2,000 to win or $4,000 to win or $6,000 to win or $12,000 to win. That's a couple $100 to win. And that's what's so crazy. And so you're going to see the same thing with modifieds, is that you get to pull from Indiana. You're going to pull from Ohio. You're pulling from, 8 states are coming to Kalamazoo, Michigan for such a huge weekend that, again, it's incredible to have this opportunity at Kalamazoo. So I know that's why I'm jealous. Like I'm excited for Family Time on Friday. I'm not certainly complaining about, being able to do that. But at the same time, that Saturday feature 100 laps with the best of the best in open wheel racing, you're just not going to find that anywhere else, especially 1,200 to start. That's an A feature win at some places, and but again, this is their big crown jewel. So I know if you're not going anywhere else, go to Kalamazoo.
You just reminded me about the Kalamazoo street stocks. Two drivers very familiar to fans of Kalamazoo Speedway Industry Stock Division, Brock Gannis and Mike Gain is going to make his modified debut in the new shoe shootout. Oh. You talk about a heck of a way to make your debut. With the Open Wheel Warriors, my goodness. But I think their track experience, especially Brock Gannis, who's going to be behind the wheel of Nolan Cooper's number 24C. Gannis, ironically, not eligible for the new shoe. He made a start at Springport back in 2022 or 2021, sorry. But I'm sorry, again, my notes aren't in front of me. So
Still, it's
older,
impressive.
so the memory fades every now and then, you know. So, but no, Brock isn't eligible for the new shoe, but Mike Gain is, and he's making his debut in a modified in the new shoe shootout. He's going to be one to watch as well.
Well, and he's come, he's really come on too in the street stock, and he's been competitive. Obviously, it's when I was talking with someone earlier, they're like, well, no, Brock. I said, no, Brock is at Hot Shoe. His dad will be at Flagger Boy. I said, Connor Landis has taken over that machine, for them this weekend. I said, so you will have a chance, if you're not at one track, to watch one Gannis, you will get to watch a Gannis at another track. So if, again, two awesome drivers who you get to see, but that's where that, just seeing the names, and I've seen some of these guys down at Bristol, and I know you were down at Bristol. That's where you and I got to finally meet in person. We knew each other, through passing, but never like met. And, but again, this talent is just rock star talent. So there's
going to be some very, very good cars, and there's going to be a bunch of surprises to a lot of people that are going to have to run that B feature on Saturday.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's just one of your projects is Hot Shoe, and you get to do that. And, but I know, something else that you get to put your passion in, where we talk, man, you just have this, but you get to be at Berlin, next week, right? Is Berlin for their big late model race, which also will have names that you might be a little surprised that, might finish different or be in a different spot. Then you get revealed the hammer, and then you have the Michigan Dirt Series, late model series. So kind of like with Hot Shoe, to dovetail that into the next part, like where do you want to go from here? Kind of turn left and go fast, but so do you want to go to Berlin, or do you want to talk a little bit about the Dirt Series? Because I know that move over Michigan's brand new and growing. And anything else on Hot Shoe? I don't want to close that, but I figure
not at all. Just final note on Hot Shoe. Level ground excavating qualifying at 4:00 on Saturday. Backtrack to the Friday night is the third annual New Shoe Shootout. It's the only race of Friday night, so and it's a big one. 50 lap feature, 2,000 to win, 300 to start. The winner gets a guaranteed spot in Hot Shoe 100 XII. If you're into Roman numerals, that is 12. So, but yeah, that racing starts at 7:30 on Friday night. It's the one feature, 50 laps. And Saturday, as we mentioned, level ground excavating qualifying at 4. We're going to start racing at 6:00 with the Hot Shoe C feature, followed by a Street Stocks B if we need one. Hot Shoe B feature, Street Stocks A, and then we'll wrap it up with the crown jewel, modified racing in the country, Hot Shoe 100 on Saturday night. This coming Thursday, I will head to the west side of the state of Michigan, and for me, that begins a 18-day road trip. I will not be in the comforts of my office chair, which I so love. I'm sitting in right now. I'm leaving on this Thursday, August 6th, and I will not be home until Monday, August 24th from this trip. So all that to lead into what you were talking about, Lewis. So the next race after that is the 16th running of the Tecton Battle at Berlin 250 for the United Auto Racing Alliance National Super Late Model Tour. It's the richest paying template super late model race in the state of Michigan. Last year, defending track champion Austin Hull went to victory lane. Previous winners Carson Hocevar, Bubba Pollard, Brian Campbell, Boris Yurkovic. I mean, it's $40,000 to win for the Battle at Berlin 250. I'm in a social media role for that event. Jake Wilson, the voice of UARA, is going to be making the haul up from Florida. He's going to be on the call for that race. Ricky, I have a great relationship with Ricky Brooks. A lot of people can say that, but Ricky Brooks is he's the man. The legendary Room of Doom for many, many years. Have a great relationship with Ricky and his wife Tracy and the entire management and staff of the UARA National Super Late Model Tour. Looking forward to being there in a social media role for them. And then from there, I technically, in parentheses, quotes, have a day off on the 13th, which not really. But then on Friday, August 14th, the inaugural Move Over Michigan Dirt Late Model Series presented by Capnick Insurance Group and McAllister Machinery Company. It's a labor of love that started with a phone call back in October of last year. Jeff Finley, member of the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame. He's a dear, dear friend of mine. We've been friends since I was a teenager, even before I started my announcing career. Calls me up one day out of the blue and says, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And if you know Jeff Finley, he can talk more than me. He can talk. 45 minutes later, I didn't say a word. 45 minutes later, he's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Okay." And that's where the Michigan Dirt Late Model Series was born. And last year was privileged to be able to work over at my home track, Bertrand Speedway, in a director of operations role for a little bit. Unfortunately, some behind the scenes stuff, things didn't work out, but it ignited something in me. The promoting side of this, the operations side, the behind the scenes stuff that no one sees, right? You know, Bud and Amy do it once a year, and they say that's enough. That we're good. You know, it ignited something in me, and then this opportunity came along with Jeff, and the Michigan Dirt Late Model Series was born. We been putting this together since that phone call in October. If you're into dirt racing at all, for those tuning in, and for you guys as well, if you don't know, Michigan Dirt Late Model drivers and teams are some of the best in the country. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they don't have a home. Right. You know, if they want to travel, if they want to run the touring series, they run the Valvoline American Ironman Late Model Series, a series based out of Kentucky. Chris Tilley and Michael Despain, they do such a wonderful job. They're based out of Kentucky. They run all over Michigan, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan. They do such a wonderful job. The Dirt Car Summer Nationals Hell Tour, Sam Drigger is a longtime promoter of dirt car racing. Those two series, whenever they came to Michigan, that was the only time our Michigan-based drivers had somewhere to go other than weekly racing, there's nothing wrong with weekly racing, especially on the dirt track level. But if they wanted to go travel to some of the bigger shows, they had to go out of state or wait for the Ironman series or the Hell Tour to come to Michigan. Jeff and I put this together. We were originally going to do a partial season this year. We kind of put that on hold. And then literally, I'm at Berlin Raceway on July 4th, getting ready for the Spirit of 76 Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series race there. I'm literally in the booth setting up my broadcast. My phone rings. It's Jeff Finley. Jeff's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, it's race day." Right? And it's like, "What do you think about a mini season this year?" I'm like, "Okay." I'm not busy enough, but all right. So we put it together. Then on July 20th, we announced to the world the formation of the Move Over Michigan Dirt Late Model Series presented by Kapnick and McAllister. Our first race is Friday, August 14th at Winston Speedway. I can't thank Andrew and Crystal Haycoop enough for taking a chance. I mean, we've literally built this series from the ground up. That we had our experience doing what we do, right? But from the ground up to when the cars hit the track on Friday, August 14th, that's going to be a very special day. It's the inaugural event. We're going to run 3 races this year. Friday, August 14th at Winston's the opener. Friday, August 21st, we are certainly privileged to share the stage with the Napa Network All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Car Series at I-96 Speedway on Friday, August 21st. I mean, talk about coming out of the gate with a big show. I mean, my goodness, the throwdown at I-96 with the 410 wing sprint cars, the big dogs of sprint car racing, and our little Michigan Dirt Late Model Series. We're going to share the stage that night. I mean, it's going to be awesome, to say the least. And then on Saturday, August 29th, is our inaugural championship race up at Merritt Speedway up in Lake City, Michigan. It's a cliche, but it's true in this case. It's a labor of love. It really is. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of dirt late model racing. I grew up on dirt late models at Auto City Speedway back in the late 70s, early 80s, before they paved that racetrack when I was 12, which broke my heart. Because Auto City back in the early mid 80s, it was the best dirt track in the country. It was bigger and better than Eldora Speedway. Wow. You ask anybody that was around at that time, they'll tell you Auto City was head and shoulders above Eldora at that time in the late 70s, early mid 80s. Auto City was just a special place when it was a dirt track. And it's always been in the back of my mind. privileged to have traveled with the World of Outlaw late model series back in 2016. That was probably the funnest year of my life. It was so much fun. And it's always, the dirt late models always been in the back of my mind. And here it is. We fast forward, and we are 11 days away from the inaugural race for the Move Over Michigan Dirt Late Model Series presented by Cavnick Insurance Group and McAllister Machinery Company. We've had a lot of sponsors come on board. I'm probably about 5 press releases behind on getting on some of our marketing partners I need to take care of. But I'll scoop you guys right now. Hoosier Racing Tire, the official tire of Dirt Car Racing, the Dirt Car Late Model Series, and our official tire. The winner of the Hard Luck Award at each event is going to get a free right rear tire.
Wow.
And if you're into dirt racing, that's huge.
Yeah.
A second award is going to be for the driver, the first car that doesn't transfer out of the last chance race. Well, they're going to get a Hoosier right rear as well. And if for something happens, the car count don't warrant a last chance race, and it'll be just a random draw. But either way, we're giving away 2 right rear tires at every race.
Wow.
All-Star Towing, my goodness, a $500 fast qualifier award for each race.
Wow.
I mean, my goodness, it's the marketing partners have been unbelievable. I mean, it's something that the state of Michigan has needed for a long time, and we're never going to leave the state.
Yeah,
all of our races are going to be in Michigan. We're not going to Oakshade, and Christina Hendricks. They all do a wonderful job at Oakshade Speedway. But their state is Ohio. This is the Michigan Dirt Late Model Series. So if Escanaba Motor Speedway up in the Upper Peninsula State Fairgrounds wants a race, we'll talk. And I love the Upper Peninsula, so I wouldn't mind something like that.
Right.
But yeah, the three races: Winston Speedway August 14th, I-96 August 21st, and Merritt Speedway August 29th. We're really looking forward to it. To build us some momentum heading into a full year in 2027.
Well, and if anyone hasn't been to Winston yet, I know I haven't yet. That is on my to-do list that I want to get out there because they have done such an amazing job bringing that track back to life. They put in a lot of work, and I love Andrew's captain logs. I mean, I told him at the Michigan meeting.
You think he's a Star Trek fan?
Oh yeah, Buju, have you seen his logs?
Yeah, I did finally see him a little bit.
Oh, they're amazing. I told him when I first met him at that Michigan promoters meeting. I said, dude, I love those. I mean, I didn't call him dude, but I said, I love what you're doing because it's different.
Yes.
It's different in the way he does it. And then, Crystal will just kind of tell you the way it is. And I appreciate that about her too. And that you get both of them kind of, balancing off of each other with some of the different things they post, how they post. I mean, if there's social media, you did an incredible job with all your social media. I know when it's you typing it because I'm like, oh, that's Matt Prieur. I know his style. That's a Matt Prieur post. And then sometimes like, oh, I didn't know he did that page too. Like sometimes I'm like, how does he have time for all of this? But again, like you're finding time. But I'm excited for Winston, and that's such a great shot, for that track too, right? Because it's in its revival year. So,
for sure. Andrew and Crystal have done such a wonderful job at Winston Speedway, and you guys might be able to help me out. I was never a big Star Trek fan, but I know the meme where I want to say it's Captain Picard. I could be wrong. The commander.
We're on the right track. That used to be on After Wrestling.
Where he's like, what's up? That meme. If Andrew shaved his beard and mustache, he looked just like him.
Yeah. He's and he'll tell you, he's like, I'm just a guy with autism, and that's just how he comes out with things. And he's like, so I'm just different. I'm like, well, you just keep being different. I can appreciate.
There's nothing wrong with being different.
Not at all. And that's what differentiates their posts. And I think why I told him, I said, if I'm seeing it on this side of the state, which I mean, I'm not down far from him, but I'm like, if I'm seeing it down in this corner, which is very much Hartford country, if I'm seeing it, that means a lot of other people are seeing it because it just came out of nowhere.
For sure. I live north of Detroit, and I look forward to a Winston post now just about every time you post one out,
Yes. Yeah, just like when I told Kenny Wallace earlier, like that's one of the first things I do in the morning is I
Coffee with Kenny, yep.
Coffee with Kenny, and what's he talking about today, and all those different things. And so with the Winston post that Andrew does, I look forward to those just to read them. I'm like, and I haven't even been there. I almost did go there a couple weeks ago, but there's a really bad accident here in Benton Harbor that kind of shut down the highway. I'm like, I'm not even trying it, but because we rained out all down here, but they gave it a shot up there. And but yeah, that's something that, again, if you haven't checked out Winston, you need to check out Winston because they're doing incredible work there too. So again, such a showcase, not only what you guys can bring them, but what they can bring you too with each other's platform. And so do you want to talk a little bit about, again, where everyone can follow that on social media? Because I know Lanehead was in here. What's the series called again, which you did say the series after that, but where can they find, because I know it's two different pages. You have Move Over Michigan, but then you also have your Michigan Late Model Series. So if you want to talk about social media, maybe where they will be able to watch or to listen, audio or visual or visual, where can they follow all of this?
Yeah, on Facebook, X, and Instagram, just search for Michigan Dirt Late Model Series. The Move Over Michigan movement, you can learn more about that at Move Over Michigan, which is on Facebook and X and Instagram as well. We're really excited, and kind of put a period on that. It's for me personally, it'll be the first dirt race I've called since the privilege of being on the broadcast team for the last Bristol Dirt Derby with my NASCAR Cup Series debut. So it's going to be over 3 years I've called a dirt race. So I hope I remember how to do it. But but no, Michigan Dirt Late Model Series, Facebook, Instagram, X, for all the latest information. We try to keep that updated as best we can. And like I said, we're 11 days away from the inaugural race for the Move Over Michigan Dirt Late Model Series, presented by Kaepernick Insurance Group and McAllister Machinery Company. And
so you kind of talked about, again, there's just so much to unpack, right? So kind of as we move, you've talked about, NASCAR, your NASCAR debut and all that. You've done Performance Racing Network. So if you want to dovetail into a little bit about that and like how those opportunities came to be, what's challenging about those. Because again, just listening, I know you're like, I don't have my notes in front of me, but just listening to them, like, I don't think you need notes. Like it all just seems to just, I mean, you've done this, you've had a very successful career. When I was looking for a Facebook photo, I'm like, oh, I didn't know he was at that track, and I didn't know he was at that track. And I mean, I know you've been everywhere, but still, like when you see those posts and some of the names that you've even shared the stage with, I mean, it's just, you have such an incredible career. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, because like Buju is an aspiring announcer. He didn't know that at the start of the year, but he got an opportunity at New Paris. And I know we have other announcers like Joel, who you'll get to work with this Friday, whom they may be wondering, like, what does it take to be a successful announcer like you have done for so long?
Well, it's not without a lot of hard work, not without a lot of sacrifice, that's for sure. This is, I think we mentioned on Thursday night, this is my 37th year calling short track races. Just means I'm old is all it means.
No. We already covered that. There's no old.
Right. No, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of sacrifice. And I was fortunate enough in 2018 to earn an audition with the Motor Racing Network. And it was at Mid-Ohio Sports Complex on a road course. I've never been to a road course in my life. And that was my audition for MRN. Unfortunately, it rained the whole time. So the folks at MRM were kind enough to give me a second audition at Kansas Speedway later that year. Got to spend the weekend with Dave Moody. That was amazing, to say the least. You want to watch how to do things correctly. Just stand 10 feet from Dave Moody and watch him work. It was at my audition. I was told what I needed to work on, and that's what I did. Berlin Raceway for a couple years. I did a lot of turn. In addition to the booth, I introduced turn announcing to Berlin Raceway back in 2019, and I got the chance in 2021 to work the big show. There was a big show at Jennerstown Speedway, and in the booth was the legendary Mark Garrow, the anchor, along with Doug Rice at the time at the Performance Racing Network. We called a race together. I was on pit road, and to this day, I kind of hold back a little tear here or two there, but I guess I did pretty good that day because it wasn't so long after that. I got a phone call randomly out of the blue from Doug Rice, and he's like, we want to see what you can do. We know you're, and this is where the age part comes in again. It's like, we know you're up there in the years, but you deserve this opportunity. So I made my, at the time, NASCAR Xfinity Series debut at Texas Motor Speedway during 2022 All-Star Weekend. That was unbelievable in so many ways. Well, one, it was 99 degrees, and with Texas humidity, it felt like 120.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys this quick story. Not many people know this part. I was in the middle of calling a pit stop for A.J. Allmendinger, and this bug, it had to have been that big. Had to have been that big. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It was huge. I'm right in the middle of calling the pit stop for A.J. Allmendinger, and this damn bug flew right directly in my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I knew that.
I'm blind. What can I do? So I'm like, and just kept on going. I didn't know what the hell it was. I have no idea. And so I radioed my producer, Laura Beth Barnhart, right after that segment. I said, Laura Beth, I don't know what bug I just ate, but if I die in the next 5 minutes, it wasn't good. Apparently it was fine, but that was the only hiccup of my NASCAR debut, was swallowing a pterodactyl-sized bug. And I guess I did pretty good. As Doug Rice called me not too long after that and said, "Oh, we're gonna give you your cup of coffee in the Cup Series. You're gonna be on pit road for the and we knew it at the time, it was going to be the final dirt race for the NASCAR Cup Series at Bristol Motor Speedway, which would have been Easter 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And made my Cup debut. I was 48 years old, to this day, the oldest broadcaster to make their debut in the NASCAR Cup Series. If I ever get back, it's just icing on the cake. But I'm one of the few guys, and I take pride in this too. You know, where you have Jeff Striegel, one of my mentors. You have Matt Yoakum, and you got me, and that's called NASCAR Cup Series races from the state of Michigan, and that's a pretty damn elite list.
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely.
Like I said, if I'm on what's called a standby list. So if something happens to somebody and I get the call, I'm on a plane. So, but otherwise, will I get another Cup chance? Will I get another now O'Reilly Series chance? Maybe, but if I don't, I'm perfectly happy.
I was going to say again, that's where, hopefully you do. It's kind of, I always think of like Matt Kemp, getting all these opportunities, who's a dwarf racer.
Just saw him Saturday night at Flat Rock.
Yeah, at Flat Rock, yeah. And, he did well there. I think top 4, if I saw right. Or,
on the lead lap too. Yeah, on the lead lap.
Yeah. So, that's something that it's like, you see these next level talents, these next level people. And certainly, hearing you call a race, I always enjoy it when I get a chance to listen to you call a race, even listening to you call the snowmobile races, no matter how cold it is, you're calling that with the same enthusiasm. Hearing you even get a crowd revved up. You did that at the at Kalamazoo when Reveal was there a few years ago, where you're like, I want them to hear us in Indiana, and doing all these things, and you just got that crowd so fired up that that's just not a skill that everybody has. It naturally, I should say. Some people have to coach it into them, and they can do it, right? But for you, it's like it always just seems to come natural and with always the same amount of energy, whether it's the start of the night or the end of the night. So again, hopefully you get that opportunity, because I don't know if you've seen all the comments, but best announcer, one of the top announcers, and you truly are. So hopefully you get that. But I also know if you don't, you're plenty busy, and you get to showcase with your voice the amazing talent that we have in Michigan and around the area. And for that, sometimes that might even be better than NASCAR, because we have a lot of drivers in this area who probably could be in a NASCAR car, but will they ever get that opportunity? You just never know.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm certainly blessed and privileged to be able to have had the opportunity to make it to the highest level in our sport. And to your point, if another opportunity comes, that will be just wonderful. If it doesn't, I'm perfectly content. I've had my cup of coffee, and there's very few people, especially in this state of Michigan, that cannot, nor will they ever be able to say that. And it's a very short list. And yeah, certainly blessed and privileged, and to kind of fall back a little bit to the Michigan Dirt Late Model Series. I'm not going to be a broadcaster or announcer forever. You know, I joke about my age, but I'm soon to hit my 40th year in broadcasting in sixth decade. It worked out that way because my first race was race I called was September 3rd, 1989. So 80s, 90s, zeros, 10s, 20s. I want to hit 2030, and that will be 6 decades, and it will be at 41 years at that point. And this Michigan Dirt Late Model Series comes along at a pretty opportune time because I'm not going to be on the headset forever, and I really have fallen in love with the administrative part of this sport.
Yeah.
And just like what Kenny Head does. Kenny Head does, when he retired, you know, one of my favorite race car drivers at Kalamazoo Speedway. Kenny really is. He's him, the entire Head family, Buddy Head, Lane Head. You know, I've had the privilege of calling all 3 names. They are wonderful, wonderful human beings, and I know if Kenny's watching or anything, anytime you need me, don't hesitate to call. But on that note, you know, along the lines of Kenny, that's where I want to aspire to be in the next chapter of my career. You know, I said I'm going to hit 40 years here in just three more seasons. The administrative part is I've fallen in love with it. I really have. And for those that, you know, if you're dirt fans, please come see us Friday, August 14th at Winston Speedway. It's the Move Over Michigan Dirt Late Model Series presented by Capnick Insurance Group and McAllister Machinery Company. It's a labor of love for Jeff Finley and myself. If those of you know who Jeff Finley is, one of the best race car drivers Central Michigan has ever seen or ever will see. And I'm privileged to call him a dear friend of mine, and now we're business associates with this new series. Do want to mention, we would talk about Kinross real quick.
Yeah.
Kinross Raceway Park announced today that they have scrapped their August 8th race so people can go to the Hot Shoe. And they have scrapped the August 22nd race so people can go up to Laird International Raceway up in Echo Bay, Ontario for their season finale. They have rescheduled those 2 days, combined them into one. It's going to be on Saturday, August 15th. It's the Kuwait Casino Summer Shootout Series, rounds 4 and 5. It's double features that night up at Kinross. So if you're not doing anything that weekend, you want to fancy a trip up to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, I've mentioned before, my favorite place to be, come out and see us up at Kinross Raceway Park. And it's only 15 minutes from the International 500 Snowmobile Race.
I was going to say, because, you know, if you want to, and I know it's late and you said it's already past your bedtime, and now you missed the sunset, the last sunset, you know, before.
Well, looking out the window here, I still see sunlight.
Oh, okay. Well, and I'm on the Lake Michigan side, so where I am, I can see like.
Yeah, it's sunlight there till 10:30.
Yeah, I see this. I can see the Sears Tower from our beach here and all that. I will never call it the Willis Tower because it's not a thing, but it is the Sears Tower. If you're born in Chicago or in the Chicago area, it's always Sears Tower, right? But I know it's past your bedtime and everything, but that's where I wanted to talk about. Oh crap! I just forgot because I got distracted by the sunset. If you wanted to mention, you know, even the snowmobile, because it's never too early to promote that out there because that comes faster than what people realize. I mean, it's already August. And if you want to talk a little bit about even your hockey and how you got into hockey, because I bet that's an even shorter list of people who have called NASCAR, called local racing, called the Combine Demolition Derby, and now call hockey.
I can think of one.
Yeah, I can't think of others. So, you know, it's probably a really short list, but yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, guys, first and foremost. But yeah, the 58th running of the International 500 Snowmobile Race Week starts on Sunday, January 31st of 2027 with the Mini 5 Kids Snowmobile races. What are Mini 5 Kids races, you ask? It's Snowmobile's version of Mini Wedges. So I might need Kenny Head to come up there and do some teching for me for the Mini 5 Kids Snowmobile races. We race right on the front stretch of the legendary 1 mile oval there in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We have preliminary events all week long with the Sioux Vintage Shootout, the 0600 Modified Series, our version of the All-Star Race, the Meyer Pro Shootout, which is so important because it's the only track time under race conditions the snowmobile teams have to get out onto the racetrack before the International 500 Snowmobile Race itself, which is on Saturday, February 6th, green flag at 10 a.m. If you've never been to it, if you've never heard about it, the International 500 Snowmobile Race is the most grueling and prestigious snowmobile race in the world. It's raced on a 1 mile high bank ice oval. It's not snow. It's ice.
Yeah.
The workers start usually just after Thanksgiving. And by the time race week gets there, there's over 1 million gallons of water on that 1 mile ice oval to create the banking, to create the racetrack. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite race weeks of the year. Sault Ste. Marie, it's already the biggest city in the Upper Peninsula. It becomes the third biggest city in the state of Michigan that week.
Yep.
Just behind Detroit and Grand Rapids. And that's it. It's bigger than Flint. It's bigger than Kalamazoo. It's bigger. That's the city. The population grows exponentially. It's one of my favorite race weeks, and it's so unique because it's snowmobile racing. But racing's racing, guys, right? I mean, it don't matter if you're race cars, snowmobiles, big wheels, bikes. It don't matter what it is. The only difference in an I-500 to a stock car race is terminology. Mm-hmm. Tires are skis. Drivers are riders. Steering wheel's a handlebar. Shocks are carbides. The list goes on and on and on. It's the same racing. It's just a different piece of machinery is really all it is.
Yep.
But the International 500 Snowmobile Racetrack is located in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. It is directly behind Lake Superior State University up in the Sioux. And from the right, I look out the right side of my broadcast booth, I can see Canada. That's how close it is to the border. It's affectionately known up there as the Twin Sioux. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. Yeah. It's one of my favorite places to go. I think when I retire, I have this plan. When I do finally retire, when I'm 89 or whatever it is, I'm going to spend my summers on Mackinac Island being one of those carriage guys that tell stories during the carriage rides. And then I'm going to spend my winters either in Florida or I'm going to spend it in Sault Ste. Marie going to Lake Superior State Laker hockey games.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I know, again, that's where hockey is another one of your passions. You get to call that. You already talked a little bit about it earlier. But how did you find yourself in a spot of calling hockey games? Like, how does that come about?
Well, I played hockey as a kid. I was a goaltender, so that explains some brain damage. I got hurt just after high school. I blew my knee out, and I wanted to stay involved in hockey, so I became a referee. And I refereed for 29 years. It was during the later stages of my refereeing career where and I was living in Westerville, Ohio at the time, northeast suburb of Columbus. Go Blue. Anyways, that's for all the Ohio guys. In the league I call right now, the United States Premier Hockey League, the city of Columbus was granted an expansion franchise. And I've always wanted to call hockey. And I got the opportunity with the Columbus Mavericks of the USPHL. Spent 2 seasons there, and then got made an offer I couldn't refuse to come up to the Metro Jets Hockey Club, based just down the road from me here in Mount Clemens, Michigan. It's one of the gold, not because they pay my salary, not because I get checks from them, but they are the gold standard of junior hockey in North America. Ironically, today our schedules came out for all 3 of our teams. We have made the transition up to Tier 2 junior hockey. And for those of you who don't know what that is, Tier 2 hockey is a step below Tier 1, which will be the United States Hockey League. For example, for you guys, the Muskegon Lumberjacks, the USA Hockey National Team Development Program. It's also Tier 1 is also the Ontario Hockey League. Closer to me, the Flint Firebirds, the Saginaw Spirit, the Windsor Spitfires, the Sarnia Sting, the London Knights, only an hour and a half away. From where I'm at. But the Metro Jets are now Tier 2, the National Collegiate Development Conference. So it's not going to be surprising to see a Metro Jet or 2 get called up to, say, the Firebirds or to the Lumberjacks. It's the feeder system to the premier junior hockey levels in the world, the USHL and the OHL. And our schedule just came out today, matter of fact. And opening weekend, September 25th and 26th, the Chicago Union and Chicago Crush come to town.
Wow. Still during race season. So again, that's why your schedule is just going to be.
Yeah. September and October can get a little hairy. Like I said before, I mean, there's been times where I've called a couple hockey games on a Friday and then drive down to Winchester Speedway on Saturday morning for, the run for the gun or something like that. It gets hairy around September, October.
Well, you know those time lapse that they always do about stadium transitions where it goes from like football to hockey to basketball or whatever, concerts to wrestling or whatever. You should do that, Matt. You should make like a transition where you go from calling a hockey game to calling a race to.
It happens every year. I'll call the first race of the season and I'll throw hockey terms in there just on just whatever, you know. And it's worse when hockey season starts. And you know, like, and a penalty coming to car number 18. Like, oh, God darn it, you know. And I do that, and I get, and my producer Matt Naiman, he fines me $5 every time I make a racing reference to during a hockey game, and he makes bank off me the first week or two.
Although there are some ways that you probably could get away with it in fairness, though. Like I've tried a couple times, with, like you know, with like Matthew Elsie Jr. Like. How did I do it the one time? I thought it was really clever. Now I can't remember it, but I'll look because I was proud of it. Because I don't know anything about hockey, just to be fair, but I knew enough to say something clever that someone's like, that was really good. Who are you a fan of? I don't know anything about hockey. I know the Chicago Blackhawks are not that far from me. That's what I know. But
I've learned over the years that my motorsports broadcasting has really helped my hockey broadcasting and vice versa. You know, hockey broadcasting, you are on, to use the racing term, you're on the chip for 2.5 hours. Yeah. I mean, if you guys have been to a hockey game, they run wide open. It's from start to finish. There is no downtime. And even, you know, during in between periods when the Zamboni comes out, resurfaces the ice, you're still doing something. Yeah. But yeah, calling hockey has really helped with racing and vice versa. Racing has really helped with calling hockey. And I enjoy both sports. I'm privileged to be able to do both sports. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season, the wrapping up racing season, and get started with hockey. And I'm going to put you boys on the spot. Give me a winner for this weekend and Saturday at Hot Shoe.
Oh, man. You are putting me on the spot. I'm going to have to go with Matt Dimmitt personally.
I could see Aaron Taylor, you know, coming around because he does have championship accolade. But I mean, Ricky Leduc has definitely
that's a good pick too. He was so fast a couple weeks ago when I was up there. That's not a bad pick at all.
But sometimes is it the pick that stands out? That's the pick that won't win, right? It's kind of one of those, like, if it, you know, because he got caught up into a race incident a few weeks ago that, you know, put him towards the back, and you know, otherwise, but he moved back up, you know, But when you look at a field like this, it's like, okay, but you're also going to have all these heavy hitters coming from all these other places, and they're all going to be on their A game because they know if they're not, as you talked about, if they're not on their A game, you're in a B, and you might be in a C. And but I definitely think Ricky Leduc, Aaron Taylor, or I could definitely see Matt Dimmitt. And Matt Dimmitt, you know, he's won at Lorraine. He won the jackpot there, that was when it's jackpot. So he won the jackpot. So, you know, he's definitely a front runner there, but I have a feeling that all the names we said, it's going to be someone different. Yeah, it's just because of
that's the beauty of it, right? Anybody can.
It could be Brock Gannis,
anybody, but I'm going to give you a couple guys to watch. Right. Brian Bergacre, obviously, he's really good.
Yep.
Trevor Berry from the east side of the state, he's going to be really fun. The last two winners, Matt Dimmitt, Aaron Taylor, are going to be fun to watch. Blake Rowe, Brian Nestor, two former winners, and at Kalamazoo, I would normally not call this driver an underdog, but we don't see him a lot behind the wheel of a modified, and that's Phil Bozell.
Oh, yeah, and Phil's already in here. He was, and I know I think he was spun. I can't remember how it happened, but I think he got spun and some damage, and so I know his night ended a little shorter than he had planned, but I know he was in here or still in here. He's definitely one to watch. I think anytime you put a Bozell in a car, you know, you can give him 4 flat tires and they still have a chance. But you know, he's definitely one who stands out. I just think with the field, you know, I could see a Brock Gannis winning it, right? He's going to be in a great car, and a sharp-looking car too. That 24 is a good-looking car, and you know he could be up there, you know, challenging for the spot. So
none of us have said Kenny Wallace.
Oh yeah. Wow. You know, well, I think with him being a little nervous about it, it's like maybe he doesn't need all that pressure.
His own confidence wasn't there.
But
and there's one more I want to mention in there too. He hasn't driven much this year, but he holds the modified track record at Kalamazoo Speedway, and that's Walt Obrinsky Jr.
Oh yeah, and they've had their machine out both shows this year.
Yeah, his son Waldo Brinsky
Yeah,
III will be in the new
yep,
shoe shootout.
yep. And I think that's what's going to be interesting about the hot shoe is seeing who, because we've had 21, 22 mods, right? 55 total or 53 now are here, but only 21, 22 have shown up this season for the trial runs. And so, what I want to wonder is, do those drivers, those 21 or 22, do they have a leg up and have some extra notes that other teams won't have? Or do other teams, is it still going to be an outsider who's like, we just have a really great game plan. We kind of know what to expect. They're going to figure it out on Friday. And it doesn't matter how many times they race at Kalamazoo, they're going to be able to go out and do that. So I think that's what's going to be interesting is, did those two races, because they didn't get rained out, right? We lost the late model race, the super, before Clash, but for the modifieds, they've had both shows. So it's going to be, does Ricky LeDuc, does he still keep his strong run? Because again, he finished well, despite going back that last race, he finished well and he was on a rail. But then you had Bergaker who was up there. I even think fast qualifier this last time.
Nice.
I want to say, yeah. So, you have Brian, who obviously even a late model does well. He won the Ohio Wheelman race a few years ago. I know Tech said different, but he won the race, just weird things, won. Right? Yeah. That's why I said he won and I didn't post different, but
there's a reason why I've used that picture in hot shoe promo.
Yeah. And so, you have him. Tyler Hufford is going to be, out in the mod again and giving that a shot. So I think it's going to come. I bet it comes down to the last 10 laps. I would say that
just like last year with Dimon and Josh Ware, another contender,
because you got that field change. That's going to help, right? That's going to close the field back again. So if they spread out a little bit, like they have the last two races at Kalamazoo, they've spread out, right? Where modifieds are literally covering every inch of the track. That fuel stop is going to bring them all back together again. So do you have someone like a Ricky LeDuc who got stuck in the back this last time and still worked his way up? But hey, we got to reset. We all get to go green flag racing one more time, at least one more time at the end of the race, right? It could be a couple, but at least one more. And does that, maybe if someone gets stuck in the back or someone got put in the back or whatever, does that give them a reset where all of a sudden now you're like, and business just picked up, like good old JR would say on Monday Night Raw, business just picked up, folks. So
I'm missing Monday Night Raw, aren't I?
Yeah, we all are right now. But Danhausen's probably not on, so we're not cursed. But yeah, he's on Thursday, or no, he's on Monday night, so we might be cursed. But
right.
But other than that, again, like I said, those are my picks. That's who I think. But like I said, it could be any of those names, and then it's not going to be any of those names. It's going to be someone who we're not thinking of. Blake Rowe, you mentioned, he's done so well in the late models too, there, that I could definitely see him up there. So again, I just think if you're not going to M40, I know M40 is racing. If you're not going to Galesburg, I know Galesburg is racing. If you're not going to New Paris, which we're racing, you find your way to Kalamazoo, especially if you love modifieds.
Yeah.
You're just modifieds. That's all you got to say, right? If you love modifieds, I know if you love street stocks, you might be torn between two spots because Kalamazoo will certainly have a good field with their race and obviously Flagger Boy. But if you're just out for modified racing and love modified racing, 100 laps, you got to go Kalamazoo. So I know I'm excited for that. And just to see how it shakes out, especially for their trip to Kalamazoo, hopefully one of many. Hopefully this, they found a little bit of a home that they can stay at a little bit and then move it again in a few years. Because like you said, they like to move it around. You don't want to stay somewhere too long. Right. You want to change it up. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, like I said, it's the crown jewel of modified racing in the country this Friday and Saturday, August 7th and 8th. And I get to come back at Kalamazoo for another crown jewel. Only this time it's the crown jewel, the Outlaw Super Late Models Kalamazoo Clash 34 on Wednesday, August 19th. So some good racing coming up. It starts this weekend with a hot shoe.
So other than that, if we haven't, I know it's 9:17, so I'm going to let you get to bed because you've been on the show pretty much since like the start. So you've been hanging out with us for a while. I know you got to at least eat dinner a little bit while we were waiting for Kenny to come on, but that's like a perfect pinpoint. We started with hot shoe conversation and end with hot shoe conversation. So I know you'll be on Track Tune, right? You'll be calling it on Track Tune.
Right. That's right. Live. The only live broadcast of the Hot Shoe 100 race weekend is audio only on the Track Tune app. It's a free app to download. If you're on Android, go to your Google Play Store. If you're on the iPhone, go to your Apple Store. It's absolutely free to download, and just search for Hot Shoe 100 and bring some earbuds. I might have a couple extra pair. I might sell you or give you, but the Hot Shoe 100 race weekend will be live audio only, exclusively on Track Tune.
Yep. So again, good luck to Boujou. If you've never tried track tuning,
that's
you have to get it.
That.
I think New Pairs tried it a few years ago when they had Cody Geyer, I think, was announcing at the time they were trying track tune, but I don't think they use it anymore. But somewhere they still have the banner, but they don't use it anymore. But definitely, I know you'll be on there, and will Joel be on there for the street stock portion?
Yeah, Joel. Yep. Joel has the street stocks all taken care of this weekend. I got the modifieds all squared away. So we'll be looking forward to working with Joel. I know he has some big shoes to fill there.
Oh yeah,
Jason. When Jason Seltzer was there and that. Joel's definitely some big shoes to fill, but he's doing a good job.
He danced on the front stretch. That's how you got his way into announcing. So be careful, Boujou, if you dance too much.
Sometimes it's dance on the front stretch. Sometimes you tell Lewis you'll co-host a podcast for a few weeks. And then...
and then look at you. But again, I forgot the top of the hour again, but we've been talking with Matt Prieur, who won the media award, best in Michigan, the media award for the Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club. And then if you did miss it, we had Kenny Head not at 7:15, but around 7:30, Kenny Head came on. Matt Prieur was about 8:05. So the times are a little wrong, but we had Kenny Wallace. He was a little late. He was in Wisconsin and he's on a family vacation. So, we did get him on about 7:15. So if you go back and you listen to the broadcast for anything that you missed at about 7:15, which would be about Boujou at that point is about 40 minutes into the broadcast, because we started with Evan Verduin right away at 6:40. Evan was on, and him and Boujou held down the fort while I was doing some production things on the side. And you didn't crash. Nothing crashed. And like I said, I heard all the conversation. You guys did fantastic. So again, you can go back. So 6:40, Evan Verduin. Of course, this is Monday Night Rewind presented by National Compact Touring Series, Federated Auto Parts, and ELH Detailing. But again, 6:40, just doing the timestamps for those who are watching now. About 7:15, Kenny Wallace. About 7:30, Kenny Head, which would be about 50 minutes into the broadcast. And then Matt Prieur coming on. I'm not doing that math, but it's at 8 o'clock. So 1 hour and about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes that Matt Prieur came on. And then obviously he's helping us close the show, or temporarily Kenny Prieur, just to match up with the things. Prieur. But yes, Kenny Evan Prieur. But I know when you came on, you already said it's past your bedtime. And
it's now past my bedtime too, man.
But that's where I thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, you're one of the best in the business. So it's so awesome to have you. And no echo. We had a little duckling thing. We figured out we were bouncing off of Evan's phone. That's why you heard the little thing at the start was it was just bouncing. The echo was bouncing off of Evan's phone. But thank goodness we figured out the echo stuff. Like I said, I paid enough damn money for that. So we were not going to have
sleep tonight now.
I did not sleep at all. I was so stressed between last night and today. I didn't even edit Matt onboard cameras, which I wanted to. I'm like, I couldn't stop moving and pacing. I was pacing all day. I'm like, this just needs to work for us. So again, thank you so much for coming back and working through all the technical difficulties the last time, but definitely safe travels on your way to Kalamazoo for an awesome weekend, and safe travels everywhere you're going, because again, you're on the road until like
18-day road trip, brother.
It's crazy. I don't know that I could do that. Super shoe weekend and Michigan Cup weekend away from home was long enough for me. So again, Matt, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and definitely share out the stream. I know it's a little bit of a marathon tonight with the full everything, but definitely packed. I mean, just packed. If you don't find somebody that you like listening to tonight, then I don't know. Check your pulse.
Yeah,
it's on you, because this was probably our most 25th episode, the most loaded episode that we probably had in our short history. But again, it's because of people like Matt, Kenny, and Evan, and of course Kenny Wallace, a huge name joining. So Matt, it's our favorite part of the night where let's see. Do you remember how I always close the show?
I
won't.
That's maybe for putting us on the spot, making us pick a modified.
So, well, and I'm not judging, because it's also like bad time
Yeah.
too, right? But
Yeah.
so I always like to close off with I always say Boozoo. Dalton Irish did it like extremely well. Like he
Yeah,
hadn't
he
even down
nailed
to my
it.
mannerisms. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a little creepy in a good way. Like ooh, he really listens. But I always say Boozoo, or I say, well, Boozoo, it's time to turn left and go fast, because
We'll see you at the races.
again, we'll see you at the races. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you for listening.